Blaised. Get Blaised. Get Blaised. Get Blaised. Get Blaised. Get Blaised. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a very special podcast I've been waiting a really long time to do. And like I always like to say, loyalty is currency. Hit the thumbs up, share it out. I can take out my monitor now because I can hear my audio. I'm such a freak about that. Good to see everybody. This is something I'm really excited about. It's talking about the world of e-fetting, digital wrestling, as I like to call it. Back in the day, when you were a kid, you probably had your own little federation with your figures. When you start getting video games, you started doing your own little creations. I don't know if anyone remembers the little muscle. They were called muscles, the little guys that were real tiny wrestling figures. There was hundreds of them. I gave them all names. I had my own federation. I wrote it all down. You can see I'm a collector of different types of toys, including wrestling figures. I gave a bunch of people shout outs on the way in because that's what it's really about. We got Cowboy John in the chat as well. Logan joining us. So many people. And I thank you all for spreading the word and sharing the love on what we're going to do in the next 3 Sundays, not only leading up to the new game in March, not only leading up to the gathering, which you see all these logos around me are different e-feds that are going to be represented on this channel in one tournament. And I've always said this. I'm not going to get emotional this week. I did that last week during the Great Hall thing. It's about making a real community. I jokingly say it, putting unity in the community. And that's what we do here on this channel and so many other channels. I was challenged about 5 years ago that you couldn't bring together this many e-feds and runners and egos and people that love wrestling, and it's going to backfire on you. But we're here. We are here for the first ever CAW Summit. CAW, Create a Wrestler. And I said, even jokingly on my show yesterday, it should be CAU, not CAW. We create wrestlers, but we create universes. We don't just create wrestlers. You guys, a lot of you guys out there are the players. You create players. You create wrestlers. So I wanted to coin a different phrase. We got more people popping in. I love it. Raymond's in the house. Great to see you. Tammy is here. Always a blast. These are great individuals, a bunch of people we're going to talk about, but I'm going to break it down to like what I just mentioned was something important, and it's something that I coined a while ago, the Digital Wrestling Syndicate, which is basically anybody who does e-fedding. It's not just people on my show or people. I wanted to create a logo, a name for everyone that does e-fedding, whether it's SimFed or e-fed, Xbox or PlayStation, pre-recorded or live. It's a beautiful thing that they're all different. So within the last year or two, and I've had the conversation with my 3 guests personally outside the game, that the beauty of the game is we all do it differently, but it's still the same thing. Now, talking about my federation first, and we'll bring on these 3 guys, talk about their federations, then we'll talk about some generalizations of how we do the game. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the gathering. Over 50 different eFeds representatives, 50 logos on there, and some overlap. Some are, we got one on Twitch, one in W that has YouTube channel, and just so many people. But to me, it's not just the logo. It's not just the company. It's the human being behind it running it, that I've got to know these people. And that is so important to me. I could sit here and tell you something I know personally about each of these 50 people. And that's the beauty of it to me. Once again, we'll reiterate this time and time again. There's a million ways to do this. Everyone's different, and that's the beauty of it. If it's all the same, it'd be boring as hell, right? It would just be the same thing everywhere. But we're going to talk about how we run our shows, how we come together, how we talk to the chats, how we communicate, how we design our federations. And it's for you in the chat too. We want to learn from you guys. You guys can learn from us. So I'm going to plug my federation first. Here's my calendar for this week. I have a lot going on this month. Territory War is where everyone fights. From Texas, they fight each other. From Canada, they fight each other. From the UK, they fight each other. And the ultimate goal is to win a championship. My federation is set in the future. And I did that for one reason, because you got a lot of people that will come in and say, well, I got 17 championships in this fed and that fed, so I'm already the man. Well, now I'm 75 years into the future, so we can scratch all that. Plus, it's a pre-apocalyptic world where the gladiators of the combat kingdom are the last people left on the planet formerly known as Earth, battling to be the best. That is my universe. Valentine's Day we did yesterday, which is the Valentine's Day special where we highlighted the ladies, the Battle Queen division. We'll go back to the moon this Saturday. I got another Get Blaze podcast specifically on LTD. And then the gathering comes in March. Also, you're going to see a lot of creation streams from people you'll meet today and on next Sunday and the following Sunday as the new game with a lot of exciting features come out. We'll talk about those as well at the end of this program. This isn't only about 2K25. This is about the CAW universe and creating people as a whole, bringing people together to have fun. Yes, we get into character, but try not to get too in character, I guess is one way to say it. I'm just checking the chat. We got Cassie popping in here. Odds is in the building. Temple is here. J-Dog, another content creator, is out there. Prestigious Worldwide Wrestling, how you doing? Welcome in. Glad to see new names, old names, same names, ones from other communities here. That's what it's all about. Now, I do have a website. There's my boy Twitch in the building, too. He's been doing it for a very long time. And I got a lot of respect for anybody who puts theirself out there and does this. We're twisting the game to make it for what we want to. This game is made to be played. But yes, I know Odds is going to argue with me. It's also made for creations and stuff. I know, my brother Odds, I love you to death. I love banter. Debate is fine. When it turns into an argument, that's a different story, because then I'll bring Heel Blaze out and I'll tell you all to go fuck yourself. Yeah, this is not a PG show. We're just having fun. So keep that in mind. Here's my website if you want to find more about LTD. So we're going to bring each person on with an introduction. They're going to talk about their federation. We'll get a little bit more into that. Let me make sure. I'm a note taker. I'm a guy who loves to take notes, who loves to have structure to what I do. So I wanted to talk about different universes, did that. I always talk about the 3 levels of playing, and people wonder what the hell you're talking about. You come to the show, you watch the game. Some federations, they control the outcomes, and it's storyline based. A lot of other ones are AI versus AI. And thank you, Raymond, for becoming a member. You are awesome. Appreciate you, my man. But the 3 levels, there are people that are way into it, super in character, love to write, get into character. They will play along, win or lose. They can have fun. There's some people just happy to be a part of a community, and I appreciate that too. They show up when they can, they watch replays. They don't care what you do with their character, they're just happy to be involved in something. And then there's some people that need their hand held. They need taken, here's how we do it, that's not how we do it. And that's where I've realized, and I made this mistake. I'll own up to my mistake of not jumping into people's DMs and trying to get people to understand and just hoping I lead by example with my commentary and my wacky, wild silliness that I do on my streams. Different companies, different feds. It's a role-playing game. I compare it to Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your dungeon master. I'm leading you along, but you guys influence the game with your chat, with the wins. And I keep saying, be used to losing, because you're going to lose more than you win in the game. We don't control, most of us, I should say, because we're including dozens and dozens of different creators. We don't control the outcome. But here's the golden rule, because there's so many out there. I was talking on a PS call the other day to a bunch of friends about this. There's so many feds out there now. If you don't agree with how someone runs it, or you don't work well with them, or you don't like people that are in that community, go find a different e-fed. Simple as that. There's something out there for everyone. Rowdy's in the house. Big shout out. I don't have my echo sound effect. To you, I can still do it. Let's see. Behind the scenes, let me pull back the curtain a little bit. I say a lot of things when I'm live. I don't have a very good memory. I really don't. It's probably because I was a pothead when I was younger too. I drank a lot, whatever. I partied. I'm old. I'm 51 years old for some people that don't know it. This game's for people that are teenagers. I know teenagers that play the game better than 50-year-olds and 50-year-olds that act like pre-teenagers. It's all good. So I have a little saying I say, and yes, it's written down. This is a creation and simulation federation, interactive digital wrestling role-playing game for your entertainment with original created characters, with creators and managers live in the chat. Boom. That's what we do. That pretty much encompasses everyone. And I did that because people come in the chat, John Cena versus, fight me now. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, go. I understand that, because a lot of people don't understand what we're doing. There's 100,000 streamers out there that stream their gameplay, and I love that. I'm not a gamer. I want to see you stream my Rise, Showcase, The Island, which we'll talk about later as well, and all the other features that I don't get to play. My GM, I got a guest coming on today that plays my GM. It's so much fun to watch them do it. I am not a gamer. I'm a creator and a commentator. That's what I do. It's funny because people think I'm crazy. So I say, listen, I've played 2K 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, no 21, of course, 20 for like 2 weeks, 23, 24, and I've never played a match. I've never played a whole match. I've tried to whenever I got glitches and I got to fix it. And you guys laugh at me because I don't know how to get in and out of the ring. So I have a lot of sayings that I say, and it's written down on this paper. Glad to be a part of your day. I'm the dungeon master. Escapism. That's a word, a keyword that I use a lot in my shows, because I want to give people the ability to forget whatever's going on in their real life and come in and live this fantasy world. We got another member, Totes, is in the building. We're bringing him on soon. Got a lot to talk about. My DMs are always open. Slide into my DMs, if you know what I'm saying. In a good way, in a fun way, because I'm always here to learn from you or to help people if I can. It's my number one goal, is to help people get away from their marriage that they hate, their disability that drags them down, their friends that are total dickheads to them, the bullies at school, whatever. Mom just passed away. Grandma's sick. We love the community, but I just don't want that in the live stream. Suspend your disbelief. That's what wrestling fans do. You want to talk about your personal life and you have a lot to get off your chest? My DMs are always open. Mitch Kosky knows I slide into DMs every day, and he calls me and annoys the shit out of me. And I say, what you want? Max in the house, One King Entertainment. This is what I'm talking about. A place where everyone can come and hang out and have fun. Next, pulling back the curtain. When a wrestler comes out, I love entrance music. I love being the ring announcer and the commentator. Once again, I have a shitty memory. Here's Shifty's card. It tells you all the titles he's held, what his finishing moves are. It's hard to get to focus. His height, his size, his hometown, what his moves are that I need to remember, or anything else that's volatile to the character and me to help get him over. I have one for every person. I sit down each week with a stack and put them into the shows to make sure, or try to make sure, everyone gets a match. Tiffany's in the house. Great to see you. Monstar, sometimes. I don't really care if you slide into my DM. Monstar's one that'll be on the next show, along with Odds and Crush and Kelly. We'll talk about them in a little bit here. It's a wrestling show. I call wrestling a human circus. When you watch TV, when you watch wrestling, it's the new circus. You get craziness, freaks, big, huge individuals, larger than life individuals and personas. And I always say I want 3 things with my wrestling show, and that goes for the digital world too. Entertain me, amuse me, and surprise me. If you get those 3 things in a wrestling show, that's a success to me. Shout out to JW as well. Cassie as well. And that's one of my mods. That's what a mod should do. We're going to talk about mods today too. I'm going to ramble because that's what I do. All right. Enough of the initial rambling. I have introductions to bring them on. We're going to talk a little bit about specifically LTD and my notes on my company. Then we'll bring those 3 on and talk about theirs. Here's a little introduction to what I do, my 2 commercials to my show. I got some fun commercials. Actually, before we get to my commercials, I'll make you wait for those commercials too. Let's take a look at Leaning Towards Death Wrestling, my 2 commercials that I have to bring you in, to give you a little better idea of what I do on my channel. Then we'll talk about e-fetting as a whole.
Yo, 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 it's your boy Blaise McCoy, the lunatic kick from the sticks, the Steel City Sultan, your dungeon master, creator, commentator, promoter, MC, DJ, ring announcer, play-by-play, all that good stuff. And you're tuned into the Blaised Radio Network as part of the Digital Wrestling Syndicate here on YouTube, where we're showcasing your original created characters with custom shows, titles, arenas, and music. Our digital wrestling shows feature you in action in the ring, putting unity back in the community and repping many other channels with unique events like the Combat Kingdom Stable Wars, Game Night with interactive chat, games, and prizes, the Get Blaze Talk Show with special guests, show reviews, recaps, and live interviews, digital collector cards, for roster pages on our Wix website where you can find everything you need to know about LTD, and check out the TeePublic store for your LTD merchandise. Promotional consideration paid for by the following: Blaze Brews Eliminator Beer. Don't get eliminated, get obliterated. Drink Eliminator Beer. And sit back, relax, let the AI take you for a ride. But always remember this: we're all leaning towards death. Some are just a little bit closer. Peace and positive vibes to all you, and stay tuned to Blaze Radio, hook, line, and sinker. This is your boy Blaise McCoy saying, see ya in my stream.
All right, that was my first commercial that I made a year or so ago, and I wanted to show progression. We're going to talk about that with one of my guests, with what he's doing with his show, progression and building it. When I started a long time ago, slowly improving things along the way. That's just a regular slideshow, the same song I used before in that. Now I'm using pictures from the game eventually, and you'll see in a couple examples. I'm really jealous about people who use actual video in their promotional commercial as well. So here's my latest commercial, which hopefully I will evolve even more going forward.
That's LTD Leaning Towards Death, digital wrestling e-fed, streaming live on the Blaised Radio Network here on YouTube. All original custom creations, unique events, arenas, and titles. Over 90 active wrestlers here fighting as the gladiators of the Combat Kingdom. Join us on this wild and wacky ride, and I'll see ya in my stream.
All right, there you go. A little bit about LTD. Shout out to J-Dog for the AI song. I'm falling in love with a lot of these AI songs that you can do on some of these websites out there and make even a better presentation for your product. Rowdy, thank you very much for becoming a member. Shout out to you. And there is J-Dog in Animation Studio with the AI song. And I wanted to make it more about you guys. The first one was just explaining what we do. Second one, I wanted pictures of you guys. The next one, I want a lot more interaction with video and stuff too. Yes, Jesse did a nice little replay review on everything that happened on Saturday. I love when you guys do that. Clip stuff from the shows. And I think I'm speaking for all content creators. Clip stuff from the show. Share it out. That's more, it's free advertisement and more eyes on the product. Caleb James Hella in the building. Welcome in. So just to cover, I say quickly, but 20 minutes later, I'm still rambling. Leaning Towards Death Wrestling right now. I said 96 on the roster. We have 99 people on the roster now. And the only reason I keep one spot open is so I can download a character, upload someone's attire and such without totally overhauling the CAW. I'm not used to saying CAW either. Everyone knows it's digital wrestling. But when you're talking about the created wrestler, then CAW is the word. But 99. And here's one thing that I do that a lot of other people may not do. And that's their own. Everyone has their own way of doing it. I'll repeat that a million times. Every person on my roster is a different person. No alternate characters, as some people say, or I don't even have any of my characters on the roster. That's by choice. I want that federation to be all about you. I'll be the commentator. I'll be the guy who, I'll leave it to odds to count how many minutes. It's 22:45 odds, Mr. Specific. 50 custom arenas. One of my favorite things to do is create arenas. We're going to find a lot more, hopefully, about the new game Creation Suite soon. I'm excited about that. But I love creating arenas. I have monthly events, and I really like having an interactive live chat. Roulette we play for you guys to pick matches. Name that tune. I give away a prize pack once a month, which basically is a t-shirt from our TeePublic store, a mug, and a sticker. So you guys can support the channel that way as well. I do appreciate members, super chats, all that stuff, but I'll continue to say loyalty is currency. A lot of people can't afford to super chat. They can't afford to be a member or whatever. I don't want to alienate any of you. And me and Totes have talked about this a lot. One of the guys I bring on, we put the money back into the federation to add more to it. We love that you donate. It's very generous, but that is not the only way to contribute to the shows. It does help. I got a new PC thanks to you guys a couple years ago. I got a lighting rig for when we do podcasts because of you guys donating. I just got a PS5 because you guys donated, and I have to because of what we do. We'll talk about that towards the end. My federation, I want a TV-style product. Yes, I'll talk to the chat, which is a little different. And yes, I'll break character sometime to explain things, but I want you to be fully engulfed in a TV show experience. I want you to think you're watching wrestling on TV. And with the realistic graphics we get in 2K, let's be real. We can complain about 2K all we want, about the things we don't like. And that's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is about what we do like and what we love to do. And that is, I love theme music. We have tons of theme. A lot of the theme music I made from scratch because I used to be a DJ. I used to be a drummer. Drum Monkey's theme song. He plays the drums in it. Super Nacho, when he had his theme song, he sang, he played bass, he played guitar, he played drums. He created that song himself. That to me adds a whole new dynamic of individuality. Riley, we add his laugh into his song. Shifty, we add Shifty's little sayings into his songs. That's huge to me, to identify, to make some shows unique. Other people do it too. Commercials. You'll see some of the funny commercials today, but I'm really enjoying real products, fake products, a commercial for your federation. And the guys I bring on today, and when we do the gathering, in the description. Their links are there. That's what this is about, spreading the love and finding new companies. My company, no WWE shit. My mods will jump all over you if you come in talking about what happened on Raw last night or what happened on NXT and shit like that. It's all custom creations. A lot of federations, I'm going to use Monstar as an example. He'll be here next week. He uses custom creations, real industry stars, like from TV, WWE and such from the past, and has created Monstars and fights them together. That's a beautiful thing. A lot of people use real creations and others. We're going to bring on Totes, who does a WCW remake. He uses some real characters, a lot of creations. You see stuff on other shows and you want to use it yourself, that is totally fine. That is totally fine. There's a process to get into LTD. After I started, well, I'm going to ask these guys how they got started in eFeds. Real quick, in the 80s, there was these things called magazines. Remember those? There was an ad for Imaginary Wrestling Association, IWA. So you can literally take your fig-fed company and make it real. You filled out your match, your moves, you filled out your character name, and you send it in. This is before the internet, people. Yes, I'm old. I'm bald and I'm gray, okay? Make fun of me. It's been done a million times. I got a big nose and big ears. That's fine. So I joined the IWA. Every month they would send you this packet, kind of like fantasy football. This is fantasy wrestling in a way, because the way you create your character and cover your character leads to how it progresses. And that's not always wins and losses. So you got this packet every month telling you who won, who lost. Then eFeds came in the internet world. So I started to, hey, King Sam's in the house. I'm trying to make sure I get everyone in the chat popping in. We got Gav. We got 45 in the house. I appreciate everyone popping in and hanging out. I don't think I missed anyone. That is definitely, and my mods will definitely say hi to people that I missed. So I have a process to get into my federation, which I've learned from all these years, from being in an eFed. Woo! Focus, Daniel-san. There we go. From being in an eFed where you submitted your character's promos and someone else did it, to me running my own, which is leaning towards death wrestling, starting around the year 2000, believe it or not. Now, I'm not going to say it's been going 25 years, because it was only 2000, about 2003, we had the eFed. I had 5 match writers. They would write the matches. It was all text and message boards and AOL.com and ICQ and, Napster even was back in the day, all that good shit. We got Nick in the house. 2K. Yeah, we're going to talk about the 2K game later on. I'm older. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for pointing out the fact I'm old. I do it too. So from that eFed, I took about 10 years off. I did this stupid thing called getting married and trying to start a family. So in the year 2015, all my eFed guys started getting a hold of me on Facebook and said, we should bring LTD back. We should bring it back. So we brought it in a private Facebook group for a couple years. Then I saw this thing called WU, Wrestler Unstoppable, linked to Facebook, which was an interactive game, which was wrestling. You go over to, you click on that interactive game, and there's different federations all over the place, like back in the fucking territory days. Everyone ran their federation their own way. People were posting promos. People, you had to learn some HTML to post a picture of your avatar and such. Then I saw someone doing entrances on the 2K games on YouTube. I was hooked. Then I found people like Pete Wall, Pillar to Post, Renegade Wrestling Organization, Vince McSham, Twitch, and other people who were doing it in 2016. So in 2017, I took 9 months. I call it my digital wrestling baby. From January until September, I watched. I was in the chats. I watched how people functioned, how mods did, how people ran their federations. And I planned my attack on how I would do it. How can I take this to the next level? How can I bring people that do this together to enjoy what we do? And that's how LTD was born on YouTube. And you could say the rest is history. Interaction in the chat. Someone just did one. Dad jokes. Big shout out to Triple Beet for helping me link this up to my chat. If you type exclamation dad joke in my chat, you get a corny ass dad joke. I wish I could clean mirrors for a living. It's just something I can see myself doing. See. So corny dad jokes, we love them. Just adds a little more fun and breaks the ice a little bit more. Interaction with the chat. We're going to talk about that. Once we bring these guys on, it'll be about them a lot more. I promise. You're probably sick of hearing about my show already. Welcome people in. Give them a shout out. Tell them, take your time, Hella. It's on a 30-second lean there. Oh, you got one. Why did Melons plan a big wedding? Because they can't elope. Give people shout outs. They love hearing their names. I like to let them book matches through games and stuff too. Add polls, pick who wins and losses, who can stay undefeated. That's all chat interaction with you guys over there. You are so important to the show. Company decisions. You guys are the reason I have a women's division. You guys are the reason I have the gathering. You guys are the reason we do certain things because I ask you during the live streams, what do you want? I already said, I am the dungeon master. I lead the way. It's not about me. It is about you, even though I'm rambling on about everything I do. I don't really talk about the game and the settings and how it's set up. I leave that for the podcast. But every once in a while, we'll break character, and a lot of us do, and talk about how the game's set up or talk about it as if it's a video game. I like to try to get you to just suspend your disbelief even more and pretend you're in that fantasy world. Like, really get into it. I always see like virtual reality coming through in this, and that, things that evolve this game on what we do would really be crazy. What did Mac ask a question? I see you guys pointing it out already. Ask it again, Mac. I'll get to it. Let me find it. It's important. Put it in the chat again if you did. There's a shit ton of people here, which I really love. How do I get HOH up there? Oh, just drop in my DMs, Mac. Right now, like I said, I got 99, and I have 99 problems, and your call ain't one, apparently, you know what I'm saying? But apparently it will be, because if you are involved and you continue to come to the shows, I give you an application. That's where I was going with this 20 minutes later. An application process to get in. If you're the type of person who's going to look at my application and say, that's too much, LTD's not for you. That's all good. I use your finishers, your names, your character history, and everything that you put on an application for a reason. I also want to weed out the people that aren't going to pay attention, that aren't going to be attention to detail. Like I said in the beginning, there's a place for everybody. But in LTD, I want to paint the picture of what's going on in commentary. I created a bad guy so I could be the good guy. Well, I don't want to say his name because he might show up here somewhere and annoy the shit out of all you guys. But I wanted to play good cop, bad cop. So I created a secondary character. You guys, I'll say his name once, may know him as Radio Rex Rapolsky. I'll get the button for that. Rex is the bad guy. He's annoying, disgusting, filthy, dirty, stinky, and all that good shit. And he's there to piss you off. Goddess has bring out heel Blaze a lot and makes me be mad sometimes too. But I appreciate you. But what we've done in LTD is create a tradition, a history of championships. I remember when I had that title. I remember when I first joined Stable War, which was in my commercial, when we have groups fight each other. And the end all goal is to be the champion. Everyone wants to be the champ, right? But everyone can't be the champ. When you have 99 different people, only one can be the champ. But we have different championships as well. So try to make yourself unique in some way, but also borrow things you like from other eFeds. That's what it's all about. So that's LTD in a nutshell, one big half an hour nutshell, like I said. But the important thing is everyone out there, new people here, people that don't understand what we do, I want to be able to explain to them. Catch the replay, send this out to other people so they can see what e-fedding's all about. It's not just watching a wrestling game. You get involved, you help control the story. Some places more storyline based than I am. Trust me, I got people in my federation that hate each other. They can't stand each other. They got personal history with each other. But they work together to have fun for that escapism. I love you guys for that. So we're going to bring on the guests in a very unique way. Of course, I got some commercials for their show, as well as let's take a real commercial break first. Enjoy this and have a laugh. Shout out to Shifty. We'll be right back to introduce my three guests. I love to make you wait. Stay tuned. Oh, I don't have to say after these messages, he'll say.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Midnight Hobo presents Real Hobos of Genius.
Real hobos of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Silent Killer Gas Passer.
Mr. Silent Killer Gas Passer.
Last night you had the enchilada combo platter. This morning the 3 cheese omelet with broccoli. This afternoon, you're a ticking time bomb.
Tick, 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 tick.
Because of you, a simple elevator ride is suddenly a 42-floor plummet into the very bowels of hell.
Take my breath away.
Who did it? Who cares? Sweet mercy, please, just someone light a match.
Sweet, sweet mercy.
So crack open an ice-cold midnight hobo, old ninja of the nasty. And while you're at it, crack open a window, you nasty-ass son of a bitch.
Mr. Silent Killer Gas Passer.
Midnight Hobo Brewing Company, Desperation, Nevada.
Jesus, this commercial stinks.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It brings a tear to my eye. How about it, everybody? Shout out to Shifty for the audio. The Great Red Dragon, who was in LTD before, too. And Hella, Caleb James, I saw your comment. I've been trying to get you to come back to LTD. The door's wide open for 25 for people because I know there's at least a dozen people not coming back for whatever reason or not creating right away. Yeah, I found pictures through Google to bring that commercial to life because you guys love it so much. And we're going to bring on some people who use live video, not just a game. I just streamed from PS last week because PlayStation Network was down. We had that real shitty, trippy visual of me using the camera on my TV because PlayStation Network was down. But I'm going to bring on some people who use OBS. They use, all the extra tools to make the experience even better. I've decided just to stick with the PlayStation and stream from there and leave all the extra shit to the podcast here, which really shout out to Chance Harper, the man behind him who started our conversation with the CAW at the front, which was a podcast on Twitter talking about CAW, talking about everything in the past. Oh, you want retro, Iffy? Here, because you're awesome, Iffy. Here's retro for you. You guys may remember having a TV guide.
The fun, all the shows A to Z and the facts. What's behind what you see? TV Guide, the whole world of TV. That's entertainment.
All right, I won't spoil you with all this stupid stuff, but that's an old commercial for some of you people that might. So yeah, that's what this is. This is that conversation podcast. The CAW Summit is not only going to be 3 shows. This is our kickoff towards it. I'd love to have it so we can, StreamYard used to be easier to stream on multiple channels. We would be streaming on all 4 channels if it still let us do that easily. And maybe in the future we will be. Who knows? But first, I don't know, there's only one way to bring on this first guy. And I'm going to go chronological order of how I met these guys. And then we'll talk about the game. So to make you wait even longer for us to talk about how we set shit up, here is my first guest, and I'll bring him on all at once, and then we'll all talk interview style with each other. He was inducted into the Great Hall last week. He's actually in real professional wrestling, trained by the Amazing Red, working in House of Glory up in New York as a referee, as an actual performer. He has come and go from the CAW industry and changed what he does several times, reinventing himself. The man of 1,000 faces. And what he's doing on his channel now is very unique. First, let's take a look back like we did last week. Get your tissues ready. It's an emotional one for some. Here's the Great Hall induction video, and then we'll play the commercial for his channel. Ladies and gentlemen, Riley Wolf.
The man of 1,000 faces. Riley Wolf, the smartest man in professional wrestling. The man of 1,000 faces. Riley Wolf.
Congratulations, Riley. Made it into the Great Hall and running his own show. He used to be Dudleyville Wrestling, and now he's taken it to a different level. You thought Roulette was interactive, and he's very organized as well. One of the reasons why I bring these three guys on, because they are so organized in their presentation on what they do. Now he's taken the gambling aspect to another level. Here's a small tidbit on how Riley takes it to another level.
Are you ready to step in the ring and test your luck? Then welcome to There's a Belt in My Hand, the YouTube channel where wrestling, video games, and gambling collide! If you are a fan of wrestling, video games, gambling, and just a plain old good time, you don't want to miss it. Click that subscribe button and join me on youtube.com/There's a Belt in My Hand. Hope to see ya in the casino.
Now, Riley sent me that commercial not long ago, but I wanted to add visual to it to show you guys a little more about what he does. He takes some of the old video games. He takes the AEW game, which a lot of people can't stand, and use those mini games for people to earn money, earn credits to use towards. I mean, it's genius. And don't tell him I said that, though. Oh, he's right here. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of 1,000, all that great shit. Riley Wolf, everybody. What's happening, brother?
It's that R-I-L-E-Y, now retired digital wrestler, becoming the owner and operator of the Dudleyville Casino.
God, I forgot to tell you, this is out of character, you fucker. It's all good.
It would be sacrilege for me to come on a stream and not do my normal intro. I mean, come on.
Yes, it's very true, very true. So, before I bring the other ones on, I'm going to ask each of you guys individually, I know I'm not brief, so I can't really ask you to have a brief explanation. Just explain how you got into the eFed world.
So I got in the eFed world about, actually, we're going on 6 years now, where my mindset towards coming into eFed was become mentally ready for the pro wrestling industry. There was, to keep a long story short, there was an independent show I went to and was like, I want to do this. Took a year, and like that independent show is kind of what got me into eFed, because I was thinking I need to get ready for this. So I went into eFed again specifically to get ready for professional wrestling, and 6 years later, I've turned it into a professional wrestling career, working for, as you said, House of Glory, Remarkable Wrestling, and so much more, going all over the Northeastern area and making a name for myself. And it couldn't have been done without joining this amazing community.
That's awesome. And it's a hell of a story. We're going to continue to bring everyone on, and then they'll briefly explain how they got into e-fetting. And then as we go through the 5 topics or 6 topics, 4 topics, whatever, you'll start to understand how they set up universes and how we differ from what we do. And I won't have to, I already explained that. I just wanted to set the tone on what to expect, on how we're going to discuss this, because I'm a man of structure. I've already showed you that. And hopefully in my product, it shows that I'm very organized and I like to present the product like it's a TV product. I want you guys to get engulfed into that, man. I really do. So our second guest has 3 brands that he runs. I'm just going to show a commercial for one, but I'll let him kind of talk about the other brands as well. And we'll get more into, you know, how the companies run. The commercial kind of explained a lot about how Riley's is going. But we'll get more in detail when we go into each of these segments. So our next guest is the one and only, I always joke that, you know, how many beats would Triple Beet beat? Would Triple Beet would beat his meat? And yeah, dick and fart jokes are big around here. So if you're not up for that, sorry about your luck. That's just the way I am. Unapologetically me. There's a lot of me in Blaise, but it's also superficial what I wish Blaise would be as a wrestler too. And that's one thing we will talk about, uniqueness of your created wrestler. Is it an extension of you? Is it completely different? We have men that do female cause, females that do male cause. It's all in the fantasy world of digital wrestling, and it's all allowed according to the showrunner's rules, which we'll talk about that as well too. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a commercial first about his federation and then about a podcast he does, which is similar to what we're doing here today. This is Octane from Triple Beet. Jealous of the video.
Now I'm rising up, leaving fear behind. Fire's blazing fiercely, burning in my soul. I'm unbreakable. No more chains to drag me down. I'm breaking free, can't keep me bound. Feel my power, watch me soar. This is my time, I'm unbreakable. I am unbreakable, unstoppable. You can't hold me down, I'm invincible. Through the darkest nights, I'll shine my light. I am unbreakable, ready for the fight. Face 1,000 demons, taking back control. I'm unbreakable. Battling, tearing through the grind. Now I'm rising up, leaving fear behind. Fires blazing, fiercely burning in my soul. From the wreckage rising, taking back control. I'm unbreakable.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And man, has this art form, and yes, I'll call it an art form because of creators like we have here and that we'll be bringing on, have evolved this thing and really brought life to it. Instead of just going live and letting people fight, we're letting the universe do its thing. We're creating, we're really molding and sculpting this to our own vision. So this is a little more about what he does. Beat and Odds, and I'll throw Kyle in there too. F Kyle, everyone knows hashtag F Kyle. But Kyle, as well as Triple Beet and Odds, they're my go-to when I need to know anything about wrestling video games of the past. This guy too, Riley, because you guys are gamers. Especially Odds. Odds, I can ask him. We'll meet him next week. What happened in 2016 and what game and what was the first game in 2006? What was the best game? He knows everything about every game, and I love it. So these guys get together and do the Let's Talk CAW Shop. What's stuff to say? Let's Talk CAW Shop podcast. Is that what it's something like that? Anyways, I'll let them explain. Here's the commercial for their podcast, similar to what we're doing today, but less rambling by this idiot.
Welcome to the Let's Talk CAW Shop box, where we talk CAW about the digital wrestling in. You already know, we're here to talk fucking shows.
Hey guys, I'm Triple Beet, and I am one of your co-hosts on the Let's Talk CAW Shop podcast here on the Triple Beet YouTube channel every other Sunday. Myself, Odds, and Samurai usually sit around and talk about CAW wrestling and all the little intricacies that you could think of regarding CAW wrestling. As far as creating a character, playing your character in an eFed, the differences between edited federations and live federations, how to set up your game from your sliders based on what you're doing, and just all the little different things that you could think of that go into this hobby. And believe me, there's a lot more to it than you think. So if you're interested in learning about any of that, check out the Let's Talk CAW Shop podcast every other Sunday here on the Triple Beet YouTube channel. And do me a favor, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a sub. We'll see ya in the streams.
Welcome to the Let's Talk CAW Shop box, where we talk CAW about the digital wrestling in. You already know, we're here to talk fucking shows.
I love that jam. It's a good jam. It's a good jam. And yeah, shout out to the one and only Triple Beet in the building. What's happening, brother?
Hey guys, what's going on?
It's kind of like they got to meet you already with your commercial there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird seeing myself talk.
I spoiled the intro. Unlike this prick over here, me and Triple Beet are kind of more humble. You know, we're not really all egotistical and all about me. And we've already covered that with Riley. But Triple Beet, if you will, I already said you have 3 brands that you do on your channel. But explain to us how you got into CAW wrestling or digital wrestling.
So for years I've been playing these games. My introduction was WCW NWO Revenge, back on the N64. Dabbled with Warzone, with WWF Attitude. So I've been playing the games for quite a long time. But in 2010, I created a character by the name of Delvin McLeod, who is the little short Scottish guy we saw on the stage. And one of my friends saw him, downloaded him, and started putting him on his shows. That was Street Professionals Wrestling back on the PlayStation 3. If he's watching, it's Citizen Monk. And
shout out to him.
He started booking Delvin on all the shows, and that was my intro to it. I had a little hiatus for a few years, and then in 2018, in 2K18, he reached out and asked me to make the McLeod attires for all the McLeods. So I did, and I got the bug. So I started making more characters, and I did a show. And that was kind of my start. And I had seen a few friends who were doing edited shows in Share Factory. I was like, I wonder how they did that. And Share Factory is a PlayStation thing. So I started dabbling with Share Factory and started booking shows in Share Factory. And now I'm using OBS, and just the evolution over time has been kind of crazy over the last 6 years. Going from... Oh, go on.
No, go ahead. It's your time.
Yeah. Going from doing everything in Share Factory to branching out and learning DaVinci Resolve and learning different editing softwares. What I like to do is I like to edit the show ahead of time and then stream it edited with live commentary.
So the one thing I wanted to add that you brought up is that I'm bringing on people that do this live, but there are so many brilliant creators that do the edited shows. I have I cannot even explain how much respect I have for them to know to use the highlight reel like you did for your commercial. That's brilliant. I obviously someday want to do a video type one for mine as well. But I do commentary for a couple other eFeds out there that are recorded, that they edit it. And so shout out to Travis Rex and Cutthroat Pro Wrestling. He takes hardcore to the extreme, like barbed wire everything with modded arenas, which RIP some of them. And some of the shows that I've done, Table Fuckery was one, which it was just, he had barbed wire tables, barbed wire arena, barbed wire chairs. Like, it was modded to the extent I never thought could happen. And I love being a part of that. They'll send me the video. I'll do the audio commentary and send it back to them. So definitely, I've been trying to bring one of those guys on. Raven for Ascend Wrestling, I just did a show. And Ben from GPW, which does brilliant stuff there too. You know, without having custom commentary, he pulls off, GPW, I think, pulls off storylines connecting in between shows very brilliantly. So there are, I was trying to get one of them on here too. Maybe CAW Summit after the game comes out, I'll bring on some of those that do the pre-recorded shows because they are brilliant. I actually found one and I shared it with some of you guys that takes it to even a bigger level. SWW is the name of the company. I found them not too long ago where they have AI modding the character's mouth to their custom commentary and promos. It is brilliant. It's the best produced eFed I've ever seen. I've jumped into the chat and watched them. But here's the thing with the pre-recorded ones. You can't do one 4 times a week like I do. It's virtually impossible because it takes sometimes weeks to produce it and put it together. Now, and you guys, I'm preaching to the choir. When I'm doing live, I'm doing the entrances. I'm watching the chat. I'm doing the commentary. I'm doing so many things at once. It's a freaking juggling act. And I think the 3 guys I have here know what it's like to juggle, because you 3, what you have in common with me is it's the chat interaction. You know, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. We're going to bring one more guy on. But you know, I'm going to make him wait. We're going to go to another commercial break before I bring my man. And yeah, there's another shifty one on there too. A little fake commercial of mine and a little taste for you guys. We'll be right back. I don't have to say that again. Never mind. We'll be right. I don't have to say that.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Blaze Brew proudly brings to you Eliminator Beer. Don't get eliminated, get obliterated. Drink Eliminator Beer. Comes in a wide variety of flavors and colors. Available now at your local liquor stores, beer distributors, grocery stores, gyms, hairdressers, gas stations, restaurants, doctor's offices, pubs, bars, brothels, strip clubs, and street corners. Eliminator Beer, get one now. You won't be disappointed. You'll be shit-faced drunk.
Midnight Hobo presents Real Hobos of Genius.
Real hobos of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Perverted Trenchcoat Flasher Guy.
Mr. Perverted Trenchcoat Flasher Guy.
With your dark sunglasses, fedora hat, and hairy legs sticking out of the bottom of your trench coat, nobody could ever know what you were about to do.
How you doing?
On the lookout for hot, sexy women that you could never bed in real life, or maybe some kinky stuff with that old granny sitting at the bus stop. You don't discriminate.
You can look, but you can't touch.
The pressure is on. It's time to perform as you jump in front of those unsuspecting ladies and rip open your trench coat.
I was in the pool. I swear to God, it's bigger when it's warm.
So here's to you, Mr. Perverted Trenchcoat Flasher Guy. Until you came along, never had someone done so much with so little.
Mr. Perverted Trenchcoat Flasher Guy.
Midnight Hobo, Chernobyl Bottling Company, Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
What a perv. Wish I thought of that. Intercourse.
Intercourse is a real city in Pennsylvania too. I can attest to that. I can attest to that in more ways than one.
I take it you don't go there much, Blaise.
No, I did when I was younger. when I was young, it's cold outside. It's called shrinkage. Shout out to Shifty. For those who don't know, Shifty the drunken dragon clown is his character, and he specifically talks with the lisp. And amazing character. Those commercials are like 10 years old. Believe it or not, they're from WU way back in the day. And when I started doing commercials, he said, here's a couple. And I was like, this is fucking brilliant. I have to use this shit. It's so funny. And now that you guys got visuals to it, we got one more we'll play later on. But this latest guy, he's part of the tidal wave of talent we've brought in this past year. Not that he's only been doing it for a year. He's been doing it for quite some time. But after finding his show and talking to him outside the game and listen to how he presents his product, it's a lot similar to how I like to do it, but it's different. That's what the beautiful thing is. And he's talked about it on his podcast. He's talked about it on his streams. He can take a character, and I'll use his term, they mastercraft it. It's the look. It's the sliders. It's the way the characters are set up to bring his vision to life. He's taken the WCW brand and reinvigorated it. WCW 2.0, which is evolving into something else. So he's using real life characters and created characters, bringing it to life, totally interactive once again. And I did put together a little slideshow for him. There's been a lot of guys that I've brought in recently to the company this past year. It's one thing I love to do with LTD as people season will go away or they stop coming around. They have life. This is one thing I forgot to talk about earlier. Listen, people, we understand. You have a family, you have a job, you have kids, you have real life things to deal with too. So we don't expect you, I think I'm speaking for everybody, to be at every show live, open to close, every show, catch the replay. Some people come in, just watch their match and leave. That's fine. That's those 3 levels of engagement I talked about before. And I think these 3 guys that I'm bringing on personify my vision of what this game should be in different ways. That's what's beautiful about it. But I brought on people like Hunter R2K, who has his own Fed now. I brought on people like Solo Season. Jay Savage has his own company. Ryan Mannion, Sam Hacksaw, Sawyer, just flushing out and, making it fresh again with new characters, new ideas, and new people who love to play the game. So no more commercials, but I do have an intro to give you an idea of some of the things this guy does on his show and his podcast. But ladies and gentlemen, just like these 2 guys are good talkers and this guy is too. He'll be able to explain it even better. But here's a little slideshow giving you a better idea of some of the things. And he does great with the thumbnails, with his presentation. Totes McGotes, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on our final guest today for the CAW Summit. He's got a very, very cool plan coming up. You're going to see something that he's holding. I'm going to definitely put him on the spot and have him explain what he's doing because it's super interactive. It's super cool. This guy is super creative when it comes to belts, arenas, CAWs. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Totes McGotes. What is happening, brother? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. Unmute.
Now that's 100% like normal, like that happens every time. So we are 10 for 10 on that. But finally, the Totes has come back to the LTD.
Yes, the summit is here, and Totes, we've had some great conversations, and I feel like I've known this dude my whole life just from some of our conversations. And we don't agree with everything, but there's a lot of things we do click. And when we're chatting on Discord and stuff, it's like, man, this dude gets it. You got to get your ass over here so we can share our best practices, talk about what we love to do, and bring the community together even more. So I want you to explain the belt, but first explain how you got into the e-fetting world.
So it's kind of crazy. I've always been a fan of wrestling, but I haven't been a regular fan. Like, even when I was a kid growing up, somehow I understood the business behind, like, the storylines, how it worked, how the wrestlers told their story in the ring, how there were people writing the storylines, and that's what fascinated me the most. So, I mean, even back in the early 80s as a kid, some of my friends, they were like deep into it. They believed everything was real. And I was like, that doesn't look real to me. Not real. Real's the wrong word, but it looks scripted. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which I love. And I love, like, the greats could really tell the story in the ring. And then I got out of it. After WCW sold out to the WWE, I kind of got out of it. And I was laying in bed in Missouri. I'm from Alabama, but I was laying in bed in Missouri. My wife was still sleeping, and I was like, God, I miss wrestling, but I don't miss the stories that are being told now. I just don't think the WWE is telling the stories the way that they could be told or should be told. And I was like, Triple Beet. I started out with WCW NWO, and I used to do this already. I would keep track of all the characters that were in the game. I would keep track of wins and loss records. I would do, all the stuff. And so I started thinking, I was like, man, what if I could bring back the WCW the way it should have gone? Like, that was the initial thought. How should it have happened? And the WWE had this amazing setup and really, really, really effed it up. Like, amazingly, like, effed it up. Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they were doing it because I was like, this is exactly what I would do. Shane McMahon really bought the WW or WCW. Now they're going to fight each other for real. You're going to see, like, DX fighting against the NWO. We're finally going to get it. And, well, we all know that didn't happen. So anyway, I was laying in bed and I started thinking, what could we do? So I did my first 3 shows, and it wasn't scripted. It was all edited, though. And I was so bad, like, that it came off so horrible. I privated the videos. I still have them because I want to prove it to somebody one day, except I'll get demonetized for it because I included the songs for the wrestlers, the real songs. So, but so bad. And I had people watch it and give me real critiques. And then I started getting a little better. I started putting the shows together. I realized I had to create some wrestlers because when you're first starting out, for all of you guys out there that are like, oh, I'm just going to do this, you guys should talk to King Sam. He's got an amazing story where he recently tried to do it, and he was like, no, I don't think this is for me. This is a lot harder than it looked. But everybody starts out bad, I think. I've never seen anybody's, like, first takes, and I'm like, man, that's amazing. But you keep going, and then if you watch your stuff, me and Blaise talk about this. I watch every episode I did twice before I do my next episode to see, because there's things that I miss. Sometimes people grab the rope and I miss it, or there'll be things that I miss. So storyline wise, but I'm also listening to me, and there'll be things where I'm like, oh man, I could have did that better. I should have did it this way. I could have done it that way. Next time I'll, when I see it. But like a lot of people, my show's live. So I see it when you see it, like I create most of the wrestlers. And if you notice, I'm down to only 2 WCW wrestlers now, because there is a transition going on. Blaise knows about it, and I'm not going to exactly say what it is because it would ruin it. But We're down to only 2 Sting and Hogan. So, but it's because we've had so many amazing people come into the community lately, create their characters, do their thing. There's so many people, 99 people, as a matter of fact, 97, because you take out the 2, but 97 people. There's a waiting list to get in now, and getting that stuff, like I don't know, it's amazing. We have an amazing community. Like you say, it's the community first. The community is what's growing right now, and I'll put, I say it all the time, but I'll put this community for me. I don't know if people understand that. I know you guys will understand what I'm saying, but I will put my community with me up against anybody. And I think every creator that has built an amazing community would say, I've heard Blaise say the same thing. Like
that way,
our communities against, like, I outdo people with 40,000 subs, like numbers wise. So it's amazing. And that's how I got started.
The sub thing too. I'm glad you brought that up. I've seen, it doesn't really matter if you have 100 subs, but you got a great idea and a vision, and I've always said, and this is just me, the numbers don't matter that much. Now, average watch time is a big deal. Number of comments in the chat, that's a big deal because that's true interaction. The fact that you can buy subs, not that anyone's doing it out there, I'm not accusing anyone, but it does happen. Buying subs, buying likes, that just takes those numbers out of the picture to me because you can fake that shit. But it has evolved, and I've seen people. I know a guy who's an actual developer of video games. He's worked with some. He's working on some things. He has 20,000 subs, and he has 2 people in his live chat when he goes live, maybe 3. And there's the one thing I've learned is don't worry about what other people are doing. Learn from it. Do better, learn what not to do as much as you're learning what to do. But, and there's some people out there that, and King Sam, he might not give up. I told him the other day, he's like, this ain't for me. It's tough. The show's glitching out. It's crashing. It's frustrating. I said, I'm not taking your image off of my gathering thing. You're not going away. You can stop doing it, but I'm still supporting your channel and supporting you. And that goes out to everybody in the chat. Whether you have a Fed or not, you're just as important to us. Loyalty is currency. I say it a million times. But just like I talked to Riley and Triple Beet, this has evolved so much already. And in the next 5 years, I said this in 2017, I was talking to Pete Wall, Cowboy John. I said, this thing is going to evolve. It's going to evolve where right now there's a dozen or so feds you can find if you search YouTube. And I do research. Those 9 months, I still do that. I rewatch my shows, like Totes said. That's, commentary 101. Sometimes people say something over and over, but you don't realize it until you hear. I was an person. I was an all the time. And I was like, I got to stop this. But I didn't realize it until I watched it. I have a glitch where I stutter sometimes when I get really nervous. I've found a way to overcome that. It's a lot easier when my picture's not on here and that's, Totes has his show where he does it when Riley has their picture and Triple Beet on his podcast and stuff. Sometimes we're on camera, sometimes we're not. That's the person who runs its choice. For me, when you watch a wrestling TV show, you don't see the commentator the whole show. So why would you see me the whole show? I get it. It's YouTube. It's interactive. That's how streamers that stream gameplay are. This isn't really gameplay. This is creation and simulation. But that's a very good point. And like a lot of things he said, me and Totes, we disagree on some things. We agree on a lot of things. And a lot of ways he goes about it. It's just amazing. And I said back in 2017, 5 years from now, there's going to be hundreds of these feds doing it their own way. And you may not like some of them, but they may have an issue with themselves, and that's why they can't present themselves that good. And I'm not going to knock anybody for how they do it. God bless you for doing it. But I also say, if you don't think you're doing well enough, or you think you can do better, reach out. That's what this community is. This logo right here, Digital Wrestling Syndicate, it's not about me. It's about everyone that's associated and how they do it. We've built a community bucking the wrestling trend, which is ego. Like Totes said, you should want to put yours up against anybody. You should. Because if you go somewhere, I had someone back in the day say, why you go live when I'm live? No one comes to my show if you're live when I'm live. Maybe you need to do something different.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but nowadays there's no way around it. When we started, we had 6 people in our little community. And we scheduled, I'm going to do this day. I'm going to go that day. Luckily, we could do. Nowadays, it's impossible. You're going to have overlapping shows, especially on the weekends when people are off. We try to support as many people. We do the Blaze raids. And I said, I know people that when they're live, they're telling people to come over to my show and stuff and do that. That's what's beautiful about it. Everyone's going to make their own decision, whether they want to be in 5 feds or 50. And Totes talked about it on his podcast the other day. It's kind of tough if you're going to be in 50. You're not going to be involved in all the stories and be able to contribute as much, but do whatever you want to do. That's the beauty of it. I had a podcast called Wrestle Sense, and that Wrestle Sense is your ability to like who you want to like, hate who you want to hate, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. Wrestling is subjective. You can ask 10 people who their Mount Rushmore is and get 10 different answers. That's okay. If it was all the same, it'd be boring. So tell us about the belt. He's doing a giveaway, and I'm a big WCW guy from back in the day too. People get pissed at me because I wasn't an Undertaker guy. I don't like HBK. I like Bret Hart and WCW more than WWF, and I never watched the Attitude Era. I wasn't a wrestling fan at that time. NWO brought me back, and then more and more. But there's the man I was hoping to stop by. Steel City Showdown, not directly associated with me, but his show. I have this show called Steel City Showdown. But he's doing great things on his channel as well. And shout out to CSW. I have to mention this. My friend James Sargent, he has a little community of 5 or 6 or 8 different E-Feds over there too. God bless him. Prayers go out to you. His house burned down yesterday. And it's tough. That's real life shit. And we support you, James Sargent. He's a great dude. He's been doing this for a long time. You will still be represented at a gathering, whether Connor Omega, his character, is uploaded or not. We love you. You'll get back on track, and we support you, bro. So tell us about the belt and your giveaway, Totes.
So this is going to be neat. I've had this idea for a few years, and if you look at this belt, like it's 4 millimeters thick, it's 7.7 pounds. Like it's a heavy belt, and obviously it's big gold. You know what I mean? But I had this idea for quite a few years that I'm like, once we start doing stuff and we start making some inroads in this, we'll do a giveaway, not a giveaway where it's some random thing. We're going to have a wrestling tournament of everybody that's in our E-Federation that's real, like the real people. So 97 people. Now, if you're a member, you get to miss the first round of the tournament. You automatically are in the second round. But still, any one of the individual wrestlers will have a chance to win the belt. And whoever wins that tournament. And here's the other weird thing. This might be the one thing where I'm not, and I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point, but I'm not a big fan of the intergender stuff unless it makes sense storyline-wise. However, I waited because now I hear about the intergender stuff, and I'm like, now the women and the men will at least get a shot at winning the belt because all the stats are the same at the end of the day, so we can kind of put that to the side a little bit with that one. But in the story, like in the actual thing, I'm not having a lot of that stuff. But whoever wins the belt, whether you're in England, whether you're here in the States, doesn't matter where you are, you're about to get a belt, and this belt costs right around $200. So it's a good giveaway. Like it's a solid belt.
It's not this. It's not styrofoam.
No.
$9.99 from 1985, which this is. So that's amazing. And the one thing you brought up that I love to iterate is inclusion. You're including everybody. And I've said this before, and we'll touch base on 2K25 in a little bit because we're going to get into the 5 topics. Intergender wrestling, the fact that it's back, it's not about domestic abuse, people. It's not about men beating up women or women beating up men. If you know me personally, that's a very touchy subject to me. I would never go that way. And I think we all feel the same way about it. However, it's been in wrestling. I mean, people talk about, some of the intergender matches that were fucking phenomenal, especially in the underground, Lucha Underground and stuff when they were doing it. So if there's someone out there, and I'm going to do it with the Rumbles because I have a Rumble title, and I'm like, just like Totes said, I want to be able to give everybody the opportunity of it. So the intergender part for Rumbles, I think, is a little better, but we're going to talk more about that when we get to the actual 5 subjects I want to cover on how we run our shows, how it's different, but how it's still a beautiful thing. And yes, you bet your ass we're going to do one more commercial break before we do that and get a little giggle and laugh. We'll be right back after our final commercial break, maybe.
We'll return after these messages.
Are you a digital wrestler? Are you struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Well, there's a place where you can turn all that around. Founded by myself, your boy Blaise McCoy and Ripper Springheel many years ago, the Madness Asylum has assisted in many career transformations. Those like Drum Monkey, Wally, Blade Charge, Matt Outlaw, Andy Price, Shifty, Mark Caliber, Bone Dog, Atticus Black, Brooklyn Joker, Crushing Kelly Black, Hot Cheese, and even the Goddess of Pain. Modifications will be made to help rehabilitate, refocus, renovate, rejuvenate, and resurrect your wrestling career. Anyone can be MAD, but only a few can be Madness Asylum disciples.
CSW presents Real Hobos of Genius.
Real hobos of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Can Recycler Hobo Guy.
Mr. Can Recycler Hobo Guy.
With your extra large trash bags, who knew you'd be the one to gather up those lead-lined midnight hobo cans?
They're radioactive.
Never mind those pesky lead-lined warnings. You're a man who stares danger in the eye with each tetanus shot.
Ow! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who cares if those cans aren't refundable? You just want them for the extra weight in the bag the next morning.
Get the smell of cucumber fast.
So here's to you and your quest to cheat the system with empty midnight hobo lead-lined cans. Although you'll die from radiation poisoning long before this commercial airs, we salute you.
Mr. Can Recycler Hobo Guy, do better. What?
Midnight Hobo, CSW, Happy Hours, Chernobyl Bottling Company.
What were we doing?
I really thought I'd be like get tired of those, but like to see them visualizing it's so much better. And yeah, I am one to beat a dead horse sometimes, but that horse doesn't seem like it can be beat. I was just waiting for that's the one I was thinking about, Penta and Chelsea Green and matches like that when it comes to intergender and stuff. And I think I speak for these guys. I kind of totes. If you don't want to be in intergender at all, just let us know. We can keep you out. It's, we're very fair when it comes to what we do. So an hour and 20 minutes later, we're finally getting to the meat and potatoes. But I really thought that a background
opening.
Yeah, I mean, the background to what we were going to talk about really means a lot to me because I really want to push home that differentiating eFeds is not a bad thing. Like, we're not here to knock the ones who don't do, we might not prefer, which I've talked to Totes. I don't really prefer ones that don't do commentary. I want live commentary, but maybe the person has something with their voice they don't want to share, or they don't feel comfortable commentating, or they know they can't be as good, or they don't want to reach out for help. That's fine. There's a million different ways to do it, but it's all good in the hood, no matter how you want to do it. If you want, reach out. Like I said, we got a lot of people that are here to help. So we've had this introduction to what the summit's going to be, and we'll talk about a little bit later about part 2 and part 3. Part 2, I'll bring on Odds, Monstar, and Crushing Kelly. So we'll get a female aspect of it. We'll get Monstar, who does created characters in his own as well, real life characters, and he's been doing it since I have. And Odds, who, like I said, and I will say he's a genius when it comes to these video games. A lot of you guys are. I'm not. So I love when you guys have the information that I don't. I'm not afraid to say when I fuck up, when I mess up, when I need to do better. That's how you get better in life, people, is just being able to admit you got to do better in this and that, and always look for ways to do better. And I said it before. I watch, and you guys know, I got the lurker. So put the eyeballs in the chat for the lurkers. I don't even have to say it. Those who lurk and watch, just throw the eyeballs in the chat. That means they're watching. They may not be able to type. They're at work or whatever. That means a lot. Hashtag rewatch gang. Shout out to Digital Dog for what he does. He's left me like 25 comments on one stream once. It's phenomenal. And for those that don't know, that helps the show and the channel a lot. Go ahead, Totes.
A lot.
He knows. I mean, no matter the amount of comments afterwards means so much. I always say, I don't like to preach about likes, because if you like it, you're going to hit the like button. Some people watch to the end to judge before they want to like it or not. I understand that. But if you get 20 some likes in the first half an hour or so, YouTube pushes that show out more. You know, you'll get more eyes on your product. So that's why I do that a little bit early. We introduced our 3 guests tonight. The third podcast, I have 8 guests. So we're going to bring on people like Goddess and Cassie and Count and Mordrin and Chance and Tiny. And we're going to talk about creating your characters a little more in depth and evolving your character and how to act. We're going to bring on the players. Some of them are content creators too, but the players to talk about how they work in the chat, how they evolve their character, how they have fun with a loss. Very important. But the first thing I want to talk about is rules and operation of and we're going to do this interview style. I'll throw it to each of you and I'll mix it up and you guys have your couple minutes to talk about how you do it. So, and this is going to be different for everybody. Some people have point systems. Some people have commentary. Comments can help improve your character. Obviously, everyone runs it a little different. How you set up your champions, how you set up your matches. You know, do you let Universe Mode book the matches? Do you do it yourself? I personally, since I have so many I want to include every week, I have to have control of that. I have to be able to tell Universe Mode exactly until we have that complete sandbox, which next gen is supposed to give us that sandbox whenever it comes that time and the PlayStation 4 and all that falls off. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the idea behind rules are, as much as like Totes said earlier, you want to be able to put yours up against anybody. You want to test what you have against anybody. It's not really a competition. We're not here to knock someone's fed down because they do it differently. But be unique. Find a way to differentiate your federation from other ones. And that's why I wanted to drag out this introduction of these 3. We don't do the same thing, but we do the same thing. We're all doing e-fedding. Electronic Federation, Digital Wrestling, CAW, whatever you want to call it. So I have unwritten rules, which I ended up having to explain a little more in private chats because people didn't understand. No politics, no religion, no physical attacks in the chat. That's my 3 golden rules. They're too divisive. I say it all the time, and I mean this. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are, or how you are, you're welcome in this community. And that kind of explains a lot, because if I got one person coming in here talking about politics and who they side with, or religion and who they worship, we're alienating other people, and then we're distracting from the show. That's my point of view. Physical attacks, I've had so many people that come into my federation and think, oh, Wrestler A walks up to a random fan and stabs him in the neck, and then walks up to the referee and smacks him in the back of the head, and goes up to your champion and takes his belt and walks away with it. And I'm like, number one, you're not even in the federation. You can't be doing that. What the fuck are you trying to do? So it's like physical attacks are saved for the matches. That's why we have matches. So,
may I, Blaise?
Yes, go ahead.
I have a really funny story. I was in a federation that was very like RP heavy, so there was kind of like all the commands. I'm not a big RP guy. I'm all about promos, and there was this one guy that like he wasn't understanding RP all that well, and like he wasn't keeping up. So like as a like a defense mechanism, he RP'd pulling a gun on me, and we were like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Stop.
And that, so, here's the thing. I've talked about this with other people. I really think with my 7 years of YouTube eFed experience, I could write a book on some of the experiences we've had. I mean, we've had bad drama, real bad, like personal, taking out of character, something you know about someone and throw it into character. That's a no-no. That'll get you blackballed from not only my show, and there's some people out there, if you do something wrong, I will give a second or sometimes a third chance, but I will toot my horn a little bit here. You see all these logos? You see all these people I'm associated with? You get blackballed by me, you're blackballed by a lot of people because we stick together. This is a community. I hate when wrestling media talk about the IWC. There's an actual IWC in Pittsburgh. It's the International Wrestling Cartel, where people like AJ Styles, Corey Graves, and a lot of people fought and came up through the system. Shout out to CJ Sensation, my boy from the WrestleSense podcast. but it's all, you know, you run it differently, you operate it differently. But if you don't have a leash and some set of rules, chaos could happen. You know, you have people coming and doing whatever they want. I have to put a leash on promos because here's a couple reasons. We had Skype chats and Twitter. So if someone types a book of a promo, and then you have these 20 people that only watch on Mondays because they work on the weekends, and then there's conversation the whole week. By the time they watch it on Monday, that promo, that hard work you put in is lost. 2 people saw it. I don't want that to happen. So that's why I fell in love with Discord. And it's my second chance with Discord. The first time I didn't like it. Too much shit. And I'm a computer guy. I sold computers. I'm really good with software. I was like, that's too much shit for what I'm trying to do. But now I know how to organize it, how to identify it, how to keep, you know, I can limit. Only I can comment on this channel. So you can. You can drop emojis. Let me know what you think. But over here, I want free chat. For promos, we did the Gift of Gab promo tournament because I wanted to get promos in. I realized, man, my roster, and I have just like Totes with the notebook, this is my whole roster, all 99, everybody here. And I have a little note by them if they have an e-fed because we're going to start highlighting them for the gathering. And it's like, I wanted to be able to include everyone, though. And so you got to have rules. The Gift of Gab has promo rules. I want it to be like a TV segment. If you come in and just say, oh, you suck, I screwed your mother and your sister, and you suck and you're an asshole. That's not a promo. You're not going to see that on TV. Other places may let you free willy, free ball, do whatever you want. But I wanted specific rules. And now that you guys are following them, holy shit, do we have better stories. And I'll be honest, I don't have to work as hard for that part. That's tough work for the guy who's doing all this other shit. And the conversation in the chat, when we're talking about these, we're not discluding you guys. I want you guys to chime in too, because we have so many content creators here. We have Steel City Showdown who does a show, you know, and people who use real life. They have I know someone who has over 200 on there. They have 3 logins on PlayStation where they have 3 different federations. They include as many people as they can. I know some people who have 25 people on their roster. They've created 10 of them, and the other 10 are their friends. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to evolve, you want to grow, you end up doing that. Monstar's been doing it for a while. He does the combination of it all. Goddess, if you like off the wall, wild and wacky, no holes barred bullshit with the commentary and the fighting, wet panty wrestling, whipping post wrestling. I always get that wrong. WPW. And if I offended you, good, you should be offended. Goddess loves it when I get angry, and I try to be the good guy, but she likes to bring heel Blaze out. So rules and the way you operate. Do you have a system? Do you not PG at all? No, she is the opposite of PG. And there are some places where it's PG. You can't cuss. You can't do this, and that's fine. Here's my PSA is, if you're running an E-Fed, lay down some ground rules. Here's what type of rules not to do, though. If you have in your chat, your Nightbot or whatever saying, don't troll me. Don't do – what do you think a troll's going to do? You know, be smart about your rules. Make them sensible, you know. Goddess does not. I've tried to offend her. It does not work. I'm so pissed. I want to offend her, and I can't. And I always say you never know what someone's going through or what they've gone through before. Some people are shutting out real life bullshit to come into here. That's why I say don't mix in character with out of character. That is the biggest no-no of all. So, Riley, you started it off.
Why you're talking about that, though, because
good.
You've skimmed over it a couple times, and me and you have talked about it many times.
Go ahead.
What is your take on what you should probably not be saying or be saying in the chat, especially during the live show? We have a Discord where we can talk about all this. I know me and you do.
Yes.
But I know, like, when you get in and you're like, oh, my mom died. I'm like, what? Like, don't get me wrong. That's real life. Like, I can't even fathom it. I've had a lot of people die in my life, but I can't fathom that. But when that happens during a live show, it's like everybody who's in for that escapism, and probably you,
air out the balloon.
It's like,
yeah.
And then I've still got to be like, oh yeah, you did a body slam. Like, that doesn't matter anymore. Like, your mom died, dude.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? So there's just things where, like Blaze, I am absolutely, You can reach out in my Discord. You can get me anytime, and I will talk for hours. I love talking, obviously. But I haven't been talking for a minute. I had to cut Blaise off. I'm like, let me talk. No, but you know what I mean. I just say, and don't get me wrong, I take that as a cry for help also, and I would need it as well. But the right places to do it, you know.
But at the same time, here's the thing. You have your people in your community, right? If someone from outside of the community comes in, they're not going to understand what you're doing and what your rules are right off the bat. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit when it comes to chat interaction. We'll get specific into mods, specific into disruptions in the live chat. But is there anything else, Totes, you want to add to the rules and operation of how you run your company? We've covered a lot of pretty much the general stuff.
Well, the only difference in the way, like where Blaise gives a lot, I give 1 or 2 chances. I'm a lot tighter with mine. One of the things like I've got written down on my notebook is, and my community hears me say it a lot, I'll protect the community above all else. If you're the individual, I don't care who you are. If you're the individual that is attacking multiple members or a member or whatever, I will protect the community above everything else. I might not want to see you go, but you're going. So I try to do that, and where I control most of the storylines, I have places where you can tell a story. It may make it into our show. You can request a feud if it makes sense. Like, it could make it into our show, but at the end of the day, I've learned, and a lot, I know other people are different, but I've learned to keep the show going and building upon the shows. I try to incorporate as much as I can, but I can't incorporate it all. So I control, at the end of the day, like, I'm the guy who controls the stories and how they go, and I don't do romantic stories, period. You put a period
No,
at the
me
end of
either.
that sentence.
And I even take that to a next level, and I've offended people and had to explain in DMs. I don't care who you're banging. That's the way I put it. I don't care who your character is in love with or having sex with. Now, we had a marriage storyline recently. That's fine. That's a little more, but when people that I've seen some federations welcome it. Go there.
And everybody's over 18 in my federation.
Yep. Just like I said earlier,
that
it's not
came
for
up.
kids, but sometimes the 18, 19s are more mature than the 40s and 30s type people.
I know, right? It's crazy. It's crazy.
So we talked a lot. I mean, Riley's commercial pretty much explained what he does with the gambling and the mini games and stuff, and how he incorporates it into the eFed stuff. And he does a monthly show, where it does that. Triple Beet has 3 federations. Now, we talked a little bit about it, but if you could just elaborate a little bit more on maybe the differences of those 3 and how you handle them and when you broadcast.
So it's going to be like the presentation kind of. For Octane, I don't use Universe. I do all my recording ahead of time outside of Universe. And then I add in the story and I add in the cutscenes and that kind of stuff. And with MXT and Galaxy, those are going to be more Universe based. So I'll record the Universe segments and go in and have like the pop-ups that you get that people don't like using. I'll do that, but I'll cut that part out and I'll put a custom scene over it, so it looks like it's all TV product.
Yes.
And the idea behind MXT this year is it's supposed to be like a WCCW, so like a world class.
Cool.
So I have a new commercial up for it. It's got the VHS look. I have the blur on it and everything, and the little Twitch stuff that happens on the TV. And then Galaxy is going to be more of a sci-fi, space-based federation in a way, where the main theme of that show for this season is they're going to Titan for the Titan's Gauntlet. And I kind of did that to kind of separate the brands a little bit. MXT and Galaxy are all of your creations, so it's like everybody's creations are on those 2 shows. Octane is going to be a little more homegrown. It's my roster, my stories, me telling the stories of my characters, essentially, because I have over 50.
Yeah, you got a lot. You've done a lot of creations. So he also does the GM mode I was talking about. This show is mainly about Creation Suite, basically. And we haven't found anything about pretty much the Creation Suite of the new game yet, but we will touch base on some of the new things later. But it's not about my faction. It's not about Showcase. But I just have to shout out you and the guys for doing GM mode and streaming it, because I live vicariously through that. I don't play it, so now I can watch it. And you guys are fucking trip when you do it too. It's hilarious. You can tell it's just three or four friends having fun playing the game and digging into each other and shit. I like to make fun of people. That's why I made fun of my big nose and my big ears early. I mean, you can make fun of me all you want. And here's the thing. If you can make fun of yourself, then you can make fun. I joke all the time. Sometimes when I get serious, people don't understand. I'm like, no, I'm really serious. I'm not still joking around, because I joke around too much. But I had to shout out your GM mode as well. Riley, is there anything else as far as rules you want to add to that for what you do?
Yeah, so just to elaborate.
Never mind. You're done. We don't give a shit about what you do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, basically, the casino streams that I do every single week go hand in hand with my monthly wrestling shows, with my monthly supercards. Because of my wrestling career and how much goes into that, I'm not really able to put a lot of effort into booking shows, so I couldn't do a weekly wrestling show. But I still wanted to stream weekly, so I was thinking, like, what would a son of a mob boss that's just finished his career do, and what could be involved that isn't wrestling? And I once found this mini game that was on SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 for the PSP. And it has been such a hit with my channel, and it's become an institution ever since, and it goes hand in hand with the supercards. I keep a very detailed spreadsheet of how much everybody has. There's plenty of people, like we have people in dead, we have people in the green, and I take the top 4 highest profits of that month. It really is like all-time profits, whoever is the highest in that month. Not so much like you play, but yeah, highest profits by the end of the month always earn title opportunities. I say 4 because I have 4 titles that get booked through the casino. That's a mid-card title that I use kind of like a Money in the Bank. Mid-card titles for men and women called the Legend Killer and Lady in Waiting. They get cashed in on if you defend it once. Just to prevent, like, oh, I just won the belt, I'm cashing in. So like there's a little bit of work that you have to put in to get to our top titles, the Legends and Women's Luminary titles. And I also use the casino to use it for the tag titles. I also have some other mid-card belts that aren't necessarily casino based, because there are some people that come to my shows just for the monthly shows, and I totally understand that. There's some people that come to my casino streams and don't care about the super cards. Wally, who's in the chat, he's like, I just want to gamble. It's a lot of fun.
Not a gambler, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's there's so many elements to the channel, and they're all interlocked. But if you want to do one thing on the channel, that's totally fine.
So what I wanted to point out too was, I mean, like I said earlier, the guy's actually training and he's wrestling and working in real life. So to make time for e-fetting still is pretty cool. Like if you watch this video pretty closely, that was Matt Cardona knocking him out there. And I loved it. I loved seeing it. I had to throw that in for you.
So, you and so many others.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who, I mean, I'm going to toot your horn a little bit more than you would. He's in the locker rooms with professional wrestlers learning the game. Like we've had other people that have dabbled as well in the past. Shifty and Frozen Rage were former pro wrestlers too. There's other ones in the community who young people that, want to do like what Riley did and take the game and learn. And me, I've done ring announcing twice for local indie feds. And I've got a very small taste of just being in the locker room, talking to all the talent about how they want introduced and stuff like that, and seeing them interact and seeing them practice and break the fourth wall before the show, working on their matches and stuff. Dealing with all the egos of professional wrestling. Can you imagine? I mean, and we're dealing with digital fantasy people trying to bring them together. And like I said earlier, it's a juggling act. This one's big. This one's big to me, chat interaction. And it could be a little bit of an open conversation here about it. Here's a couple things. We talked about it earlier. Someone comes into your chat, John Cena versus Undertaker now, or fight me online now. You got to understand, people aren't going to understand what we're doing when they first see it. They're going to see the 2K video game and think, oh, he's going to fight people, or he's playing. That's why I really, and my mods do it too. It's AI versus AI. He's not a gamer, whatever. Help me out, mods, and we'll talk about mods. Mods help run the show. There was a day a couple years ago where people would just be like, oh, welcome to the show, mod. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back, mod. Here's the problem with that. And I've said this on podcasts before. You're taking a risk of one guy who doesn't like you getting that mod. And even when you're not live, he can ban everybody. And I saw someone, a big content creator, come back. He's like, where the hell is everybody? There's literally like 5 people in a stream. I get hundreds. He went into his YouTube studio. Everyone was banned. So he had to unmod everybody, start over, because people are out. Listen, folks, no matter if you're a small YouTuber with 10 or 10,000 subscribers, as soon as you get eyeballs on you, someone's not going to like you, and they're going to try to piss on your parade and knock you down. Be proactive and don't let that happen. So only mod the people that you know can help your channel. You know, that's why DMs are big for me. I'm in your DMs first. I want to get to know you first before you're a mod. I don't know who the hell you are. Plus, my biggest problem with YouTube, the anonymity. I can create a Totes McGotes with his avatar and go around other channels and be a total dick. And people go back to him and be like, why are you acting like a dick? That's not me. So what do I train my mods to do? Click those 3 buttons when you see a new name. Go see when that channel was created. Go see if they have content. Go see what kind of content they have. A lot of times you'll be able to find out how old the person is, what type of content they do, and if they're a jackass or if they just created that guy today. Plus, if I see Seth Rollins come into my channel, I'm going to fuck with him a little bit. You know, I'll click on his channel and be like, oh, Seth Rollins. Yeah, it's surprising someone as big as you only have 7 followers on YouTube. You know, it's like, call him out. Have fun with him. Pete Wall was a brilliant guy at this. He would have trolls come in and literally troll the shit out of him, but he would try to flip them. As a retail manager, I've told this story before. If a customer comes in your store and they go, I want this, 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 and that, ring me up, you're just being a clerk. If someone comes in and goes, you sold me a piece of shit. I hate this company. I hate you. You're terrible. And you can turn that customer into a recurring customer, that's gold. If I can turn a troll into a subscriber, that's amazing. Sometimes they're just going to spam. Please don't spam. See ya. I have a little more tolerance. Most people, they don't deal with that shit. You're fucking gone. God modding. A lot of people know what God modding is. That's a WU term. It's basically coming in and trying to tell the person how to run their show. You're creating yourself as a mod, even though you're not. And you're coming into the show, telling people how to run their show or how to interact. And like, I used to let that slide a little bit because people will be people. And God modding is a very bad word in the eFed industry. People coming in and trying to tell you how to run your show. And that goes along with bringing out of character to in character and being a dick. You could be a dick in character. That's fine. Wrestlers are bad guys and good guys. Disruptions. People that come in, oh, guess what happened to Raw last night? Or let's talk about this. I will quickly tell them something else. Here's another good one. I'll be back. I'm back. I got to go. I'm back. I got to take off. I'm back. Why? What the attention's going to you? I mean, you're, like Toad said earlier, you're just seeking attention or something. And we've had plenty of those. Like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm back. I had one literally who said he was going to China for a vacation. 10 minutes later, I'm back from China. I was like, what? Are you trying to play a character or are you just being a moron? So, stop doing that. And if you do, it's going to happen. Don't play too hard. We've talked about playing too hard before. Have fun, but also take it seriously. These guys are putting in a lot of work for what we do. So as much as I joke around and have fun, you got to take it seriously. So, Totes, chat interaction, how you handle it, how you do it, your rules of thumb, and maybe a story or whatever interactions that you have. How do you look at interaction with your chat?
You cannot get me out. If you waited 5 minutes for me to get into the show, I'm already in character. Like, sometimes it takes about 5 minutes, but by 5 minutes, I'm in character. So when people come into the chat and they start with that, I'm like, yeah, not what we do here. And I kind of move on because my mods are all over. Matter of fact, some of my mods, Iffy.
Yep.
Some of them are in here and they're quick. They're like, hey, here's what we do. Da, 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 da. You know, I have a thing, where and I'm like, hey, and I'll explain it to people too. Cause I'm like, hey, I create most of the wrestlers, all the arenas, all the title belts. I write all the storylines. I have 4 of these notebooks that have nothing but storylines written. Look at that.
Love it. Love it. I love it.
And I don't control it because it's AI. So it's got to happen within the game. So, but yeah, when the guys get in, and because you get a lot of the John Cena, hey, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, and you're like, yeah, because the guys that are in the ring, obviously, like you've heard. Oh, you haven't, except they're in the chat right now. So I'm gonna let them tell you what we do here, and I just kind of keep it moving along because at first it became a thing, and there's only not one time you can get me out. There's one thing you could do probably to get me out of character, and it's happened 3 times now. And that is the large donators. When I see it, I'm just so blown away because look, and I've never talked about this, but since we're on here, in my channel, over all the years I've done it, I put over $7,500 into this channel.
Wow.
Just whether it's buying a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 or a PC, which was crazy. I don't think I'll ever have to upgrade that thing. I say that, but like, just give it 6 months and I'm sure I'll have to do something. But it's all these little things that start adding up. So now that the channel starts, and the hats off to the community, now that the channel starts making money, but every now and again, like there was a guy the other day, I haven't seen him in a long time. He's still in the community, I know, and he didn't do it for fame or fortune or glory, but gave $100 donation. He did it when I went off the stream. When you hit my end screen.
I saw that. You came back on.
I came back on because I'm like, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, that's so crazy. Like, I tell these guys, you guys know about the chat thing or the belt, where we're giving it away. I'm like, God, if we could get 100 people to be members for $2.99 a month
for it. Yep.
We could do it 3 times a year. You know what I mean? Like, all the money goes back into the thing. And look, a lot of people don't know this. I lost my job, and I've worked since I was 12 years old. I'm 49 now. I lost my job last May. And I don't take the money and put it towards my life. I take that money and it goes back into the channel. Like, we still do that. I just recently got a job. Now I'm in real estate, but
sweet.
So yeah, don't feel bad for me. I've been set up. I'm a veteran, 100% disabled. Like, I'm fine. If I wasn't fine, I would have had to get a job, a while back, but I had to take some time for myself. You talk about escapism. I had to take some time for myself, and really the channel's kind of in the community, without telling them the story of what I've gone through, has helped me, continue going. So yeah, dealing with the chat, most of the guys, like, I know early on it was a thing where like the chat would, you might be able to throw me a little bit, but now people get in and they'll say some stuff. I had a guy, matter of fact, I was like, hey, everybody show up to the thing. And they're like, I'm not showing up because there's better content creators out there. Delete, like, you're gone. Like, I don't need the negativity. You know what I mean? Like, there's enough positive people out there. Again, the community is amazing. They would have did it before me, but I just happened to be online when it happened. So I don't know how everybody else is, but you're not going to get me with negative stuff. Like, negative stuff I'll take in stride. But the over-the-top positive stuff where people are like, man, you've entertained me for this many years. You deserve it. I'm like, I'm not I don't get emotional very often, but when I see that, I know what that dollar means. The $1, I know what it means. And you did it 100 times over that, or you did it 50 times or 20 times or 2 times. Like, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, because you don't need to do it. But just doing it really, that'll get me out of character sometimes. And I feel bad because I said,
No,
don't talk about people dying in the show, and then
No,
you do
yeah.
that, and then I take it right out of the show. Like I'm
Yep.
out. I'm like, oh man, thank you so much. You know,
Those are
so
great. I mean, those are great points from
they're
coming
great
from
moments.
monetized channels. It is a little different. There's a lot of people out there don't want to be monetized. They have no desire to be, and that's fine. But and that's one thing is different between me and Totes. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm super emotional. I always have been, always will be. That's who I am. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I've cried talking about people's stuff. I've cried in character when Chance died the other day. That was real. That was real tears. I really cried because I wanted to get into. I probably should have been an actor or something or whatever. But I've had to get thick skin. When I started this is part of my growth. I let shit bother me. I had someone who I thought was in the community. This is when you could see your dislikes, 8 to 10 dislikes every show. And this is when I was only getting like 12 or 13. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? Who is it? Why is this happening? And it looks bad. As much as I was trying to like, don't just focus off of it. Don't worry about it. Move on. Then I found out it was someone in the community that, you know, that was just doing it. And it was someone who has been blackballed, is never coming back. And karma has got them. Let's just leave it at that.
But speaking of that real quick before.
No, keep going.
Because you said the dislike thing, and I'll forget this. If you guys dislike this stream right now, hit the dislike button twice.
Yeah.
And then
like
prove
that.
the point and hit it that second time.
If you know, you
That way
know.
we to get better.
If you guys
Yeah,
under
yeah.
know. And I want to kind of toot your horn too. As more as I get to know a lot of the people in Totes' community, there are veterans. They are people in the service, which we definitely thank you for your service, everything you've gone through. And it brings a tougher edge to the people who understand discipline. And I think that I mean, my dad has been in the Army Reserves. I've never been in the Army or anything like that, but I got so much respect for it. And you see some of these people that come into the community that have had some of that background be able to assimilate to the community easier because they understand discipline. But I love everything you're doing. And that's definitely something I probably wasn't going to talk about because loyalty's currency. I don't like talking about it, but the monetization part is huge. It keeps us going. We can reinvest into the product and keep it going. So Riley, give us a little more about chat interaction with what you do.
So for me, chat interaction does slightly change a little bit because I'm kind of technically playing two different personalities on my channel. You have Riley Wolf, the casino owner that you see at the first 3 Wednesdays of every month, and then got
the other jerk.
Yes. Well, yeah. Then you have my commentary persona, which is James Sparacino, which is if you've been on my channel, he's a crazy cokehead that starts singing show tunes randomly. And like for that, like I will first say everything I did agree with Blaise. All that was right on the money. A little bit of added thing is the personality difference. I get a lot of people coming into my monthly shows and calling the commentator Riley. Or
Yeah.
like, Riley, you fix this. I'm like, Riley's in the booth, or Sparacino saying Riley's
try
in
to
the
help.
booth getting things done and all that stuff. And then as for the weekly stuff, I don't mind banter or WWE talk or the random like, hey, pick John Cena, because the casino streams are structured a little bit differently than any other like digital wrestling cards.
Explain, Riley, explain that a little more because people have avatars. I don't have Blaise McCoy. I have Chris Jericho.
Yeah, so all the gambling games I take part in, there's the creation suite's not as detailed. So like that's why if you look on my channel, there's a sign up sheet that asks you a whole bunch of questions in regards to the monthly shows, your social media handle, so I can contact you. And at the very end, it's ask SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 rep and AEW Fight Forever rep, because the 06 minigame you can't do creative wrestlers at all on the minigame. So the only way to like make it so I'm playing with the people on my roster, they have to be represented by people on the SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 roster. Same with AEW Fight Forever. Technically, I can make everyone on Fight Forever, but as Blaise knows, creating an AEW Fight Forever is terrible. As for again the WWE stuff, also I have people that come from my wrestling career and just want to ask me questions. So I'll get a lot of people asking questions about that. I get, again, the random John Cena person. I can put John Cena if he's represented by somebody. Someone wants John Cena. So someone, I think randomly someone wanted Triple H to play on the next table. I was like, yeah, Triple H is represented by Neo Extreme. He's on.
There you go. So, another thing you did, which was pretty damn cool, and I'll toot your horn again. He had a real poker stream with real pro wrestlers, like live.
Yeah,
like he was in a room with a bunch of dudes from his real federation in real life, and they played poker. And the dudes kept it in character too, man. They were ready to reach across the table and grab each other. And I think you could have made a match with those tag teams.
Definitely.
It was so cool, man.
And I'm working on doing it again. It's a little harder because money's a little tight, and I'm not going out as much right now. For those that know, I'm currently on the shelf and pursuing other things in wrestling. I'm managing. I'm doing a lot of the backstage roles. So it's a little harder for me to keep the promises. Like
you're recruiting your own mafia. You're recruiting your own mafia, aren't you? Trying to follow in the footsteps of Riley's father in real life. I dig it.
I would say so. It's a little different. That's another thing, if you don't mind, Blaise, that I was able to take. Of course you do. I was able to take the Riley Wolf character and throw a little bit of elements in professional wrestling. At first, in my wrestling career, I was thinking, oh, Riley Wolf is just going to go from
Franco Costanza, the last Bronx Italian. Forget about it.
There you go. I was going to directly take Riley Wolf from the game and bring him into actual professional wrestling. Though, like, it was a little too complicated. And my current wrestling persona is kind of Riley Wolf under a different name, other things more amplified than the other. So that with the fact that I'm a real professional wrestler, there's going to be a lot of different people that come into the streams every now and then and just want to know about my wrestling career, want to know about retro video games, since SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 so intertwined with my show. People are going to come in and be like, hey, you should play No Mercy. And I was like, you wait.
Well, you did a pay-per-view the other day where you strung together like 4 different old school games, which
I did.
It was very
when we
cool.
talk about the transition to 2K25, I'll get back into that.
All right, now shut up, Riley. Like I'm anyone to tell people to shut up. I've been talking for fucking an hour and a half. Chat interaction, Triple Beet. We don't really give 2 shits about how you interact, so we're gonna move on to the next topic.
Hey,
no, just kidding. Tell us about and this is the guy who brought the little exclamation point, dad joke, and interactive stuff. He also streams on Twitch, so there's different interactive stuff on Twitch where you can play the Pokemon game. You can do the other things too while you're in the chat, which is cool. But the things I don't like about Twitch, we've talked about before, if you leave the chat and come back, the chat's gone, and you can't rewind the show to watch your match from the beginning. Those are 2 big problems with me, but he streams on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So tell us about chat interaction there, Beat.
Well, for chat interaction, I also talk too much. Shut up, odds. For chat interaction, I tend to, this is my problem. They call me Squirrel Brain because I tend to actually go more to the chat sometimes. Yeah, I'll be calling matches and then people start typing stuff and I look at what it's saying because I have it popping up on the screen on the side. Usually. And
Drunk Beetle is a thing, people. Drunk Beetle is a thing.
It unfortunately is. This is actually Coca-Cola by itself. So just so you know, I know you've been seeing me taking sips every once in a while. I'm not drinking.
But when you're drunk, you got drinking.
Yeah, I'm on a diet. I can't drink the Coke.
We drink responsibly, but we are adults that drink. But when Triple Beet's on air with odds in them and he's drunk, it is fucking hilarious.
Yep.
And they take full advantage of you in a way.
in a good way. And then the chat will also do the same thing. And I'm literally sitting there reading the chat, commenting on whatever people are saying.
Triple Beet is Nightbot.
Triple Beet is Nightbot. Well, I do
interaction, bro.
I do use Nightbot for chat interaction. So we have dad joke, there's that. And then I also added in a champ command So if you type in !champ, it says whoever typed it in. So let's say Riley, let's say you typed it in, it goes, Riley Wolf is your new chat champion, right? And the new undisputed chat champion, and I'll see it, and if I catch it, I'll try and read it. If I'm too into what's going on in the match, I won't catch it. But if I catch it, I'll read it, and I'll go, oh my god, we have a new chat champion. Let's try to.
Then I bring Rex in there to become champ, and everyone gets pissed.
Yeah, it's like,
everyone, no, you can't be champ.
Who let Rex be the chat champion?
Yeah, he got a chimp command too, so he uses the commands very well. It's so champ, not champ, you chump.
Yep, I added in stuff like that because sometimes I saw people accidentally typing that, and I was like, there's an opportunity there. I'm gonna make a few botch ones, so if people botch this, it actually calls them out on it. And I had an idea to make a bot that did nothing but troll people when they came in. So when they say hi, it goes, oh, you're here. Or, oh, hey, so-and-so.
That's very cool. I mean, it's all, everything we said is chat interaction. It's ways to, make your game more, because listen, folks, if it's just me, how much fun is that? Look at all the people just hanging out, and that's what makes it more fun. Typos. When people do typos in my chat, I always say, everything you type or say can and will be held against you in the chat of Blaise. And I'm going to make fun of it, and we're going to have fun. Whether it was a voice-to-text thing that screwed up or, you just did a typo, like Goddess's typos, I will dig into her like crazy because you've done it to me. When I messed up, I expect you guys to do the same to me. Another very important thing is communication. This one will be real quick. How do you communicate owner to player, player to owner outside the game? I use group chats to put my links so they know when I'm live. I use my website, the Nightbot that I'm using here will drop links to my website. So if someone comes in and wants to know, go to the website, click on what is LTD. It's telling you exactly what we're doing and everything we're doing. Who's the champion? I've gone to a lot of federations where if they, who's the champ? I don't know who the champ is. When's my next match? My biggest problem, I've let people go for coming into the chat. When's my match? When's my match? Do I have a match? Do I have a match? When's my match? Okay, motherfucker, I get it. You're involved. You want to be involved. I like that you want to be involved, but you're messing up the show. That goes back to distraction. How do you use Discord, which is the perfect thing, I think. I fell in love with Twitter for a while because you could see everyone who interacts. In Twitter group chat, when someone looks at that chat, you see their avatar. So that's an interaction to me. You looked at it. You checked out this group chat. You're interacting. Comments, whether they're in the chat, like we've been talking all day, you guys are blowing it up. You guys are killing it in the chat. Or after the show comments, which we've already talked about on replays. Life first, but life family. I don't even know what I typed that for, but group chats, websites. If you guys knew, and you guys do, the amount of work it goes just to, and some people have people help them do this, which is brilliant. Drop in links. I drop a link in Skype. I drop a link in Facebook. I drop a link in Twitter. I drop a link in Discord. Then I drop a link in like 7 other Discords because I know they are huge communities that I may find new people. And I found 2 or 3 really awesome Discord communities, which are, one of them has like 200 EFED people in there. And they share face scans, they share background pictures, they share their CAW and how they design them. That's amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about communication. If there's anything personal that you do or how you do, or just real quick about how you communicate with people outside the game. We'll start with Beat on this one.
So I use Discord and I use PSN chats.
Okay, thanks for the answer. Next. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey. I actually
just be the day.
I had to delete my community, or I deleted my community for reasons that we both know. And I'll talk about that off screen. But I'm planning on making a new one, and when I make it, I'm going to make it a certain way. And the way it's going to work is I'm going to have a general page where everybody can meet, and I'll show everything, and then I'll have a promo chat for people to promo in. But I'm going to use what you did and have those rules where it's like, this is what I'm looking for in the promo, and do it based on the story And what I'm gonna also do is utilize those private chats that you used, where you've pulled like 4 or 5 people into a private chat to say, this is the story we're working on.
It's worked.
That's like how we did the
Harvey
Gibson stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I learned from that. I was like, you know what, that would be a great way to do that. That's a great way to do that. So bring people into private chats, say, look, you two are going to be working together. Here's the storyline. I might even give them the spoilers of it and tell them how it's going to play out, because I like to pre-plan my stuff.
It's production.
It's just me. Yeah. So it's like, this is the production. This is what's going to happen in your story. This is when your matches are. This is when your promos are. And I like putting the promos on the screen itself, like having it look like it's the little chat pop-up. Where I write out the promo and everybody can see it on the screen. So you see the character standing there talking and they're cutting a promo. It's just how I kind of want to get back to that. I was doing that a long time before and I stopped recently, and I want to get back to it and run the show that way.
You have a plan, and that's the first step to success, is having a plan. Riley, communication outside the game, getting your information out there for shows, etc.
Yeah, pretty much. I use the basic group chats and all that stuff. I'm quite proud of my Discord personally. I basically turned my Discord into the website. Like what you, Blaise, would use as your website, I use. I have my championship history. Like if you scroll all the way down, you can see championship history of not even my current titles, but like all my defunct stuff, because this is my 3rd Fed now. If you look back, I've run 3 different Feds. 2 of them have had championship histories, and all that is right down there. I have a place where you can put your own like description of your character. So like anybody that's not on the roster, I have some people that aren't on my roster but are in the community that are in my Discord. So for those that want to learn about other people in the community, there's a whole page dedicated to just putting your whole story there. And yeah, it's just all about true communication. If I'm running a story with a certain person, then I'm pulling them aside and saying, hey, this is what's going on with the story. I'm always talking to my mods. They're basically my booking committee at this point. Exactly. And communication with the mods are so important when it comes to chat interactions, because it's been said before, there's going to be stuff that is going to be missed in the chats or missed in other group chats that are a part of it. That's where the mods kick in. Again, especially for me, I have a wrestling career and I have a very busy personal life, so I can't always be there to know that. Also, my policy when it comes to all that stuff is out of sight, out of mind. If you're not talking a lot, if you're not in my live chats, I'm gonna forget you, unfortunately. So communication goes both ways. Obviously, the showrunner has to communicate with their roster, but at the same time, the roster has to want to communicate with them. I've had people that like showed up at the very beginning, never heard from them again, and they were like, oh, why am I not booked? 1, I'm a monthly show, and 2, you don't come to anything. You're barely in the Twitter group chat, and when you're doing that, you're just posting your tweets about your CAW, and that's it.
The mod chat's a good thing that I've been using for quite some time. If I have someone that possibly trolling, instead of disrupting the show, I'm now learning to juggle. I'll jump in my mod chat and be like, hey, keep an eye on this person, or do this, or people now, I will take screenshots of new names and their YouTube channel, and I'll bring it to the mods afterwards and be like, all right, here's the 4 or 5 new faces. Anybody know them? Anybody know anything about them? This or that. And sometimes it's nothing, but sometimes they're like, oh, I know that person, or that used to be this person, whatever. About Discord, and we're going to elaborate a little more when we get to Totes here. If you don't like Discord, for whatever reason, that's okay. Number one. Number two, if you've had a bad experience in the past, it might be you were in a wrong server or someone who didn't know how to organize it or do it. And you're speaking from someone who deleted his Discord after 2 weeks when I saw all the bullshit that went on over there. I went over to Discord, got mine, went into 5 other ones, and I was like, fuck this shit.
I had to talk to Blaise a long time about Discord. I'm like, just go look at what I'm doing. Go back and just do it your way. But like, just look, it could be better.
And he was major influence as well as seeing other people. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. I don't want people to be able to fucking chime off in the promo chat or the show chat. Like I want people, I dropped my link in Skype a long time ago. I dropped my link and then people start talking. I'm like, what about the guy who just came off of work? He's not going to see my link. He's not coming to my show. This is a business. As much as it's fun, I want to run it as a business. I got a lot of years of being a manager and managing people. I brought it here. Listen to me. Until I realized that my voice had power and people will listen, I was afraid to do that, but now I don't. Give Discord a try, people. I've had 2 or 3 that hated it, have come over. They love it now. So just give it a try. Mine is secure. And most of these people, they're secure. No one's coming into my Discord unless they're on the roster. We already know who they are. We want to do it. Now, some people do that differently, and that's fine. Discord is the best place to organize an eFed. And like Riley said, my website is slowly dissipating into the Discord, where you can get all the information there. My involvement, if you're not in a Discord, you might not have known about the gift of gab. You might not known about the angle that's going on that just started in the promo chat. So, and that's leading into, Totes just had someone reorganize, and a big shout out, the help that he has. Totes is one that he is definitely empowering people to help him, and it's gold right now with people like Iffy and people in his mods, and what King Sam did to reinvigorate and kind of organize your Discord. Talk to us about how you and your people communicate outside of the game.
So since we're talking about King Sam real quick, huge shout out to him. He's doing things like, I know what I want done, and I just didn't know how to do it. I'm talking to him and he's like, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. So we started out because it's still scary. You know what I mean? So I gave him very little authority to do some things, very little permissions, not authority, but permissions to do some things. And he started doing it, and it's exactly what he said he could do. So then I added some more, and it's exactly what he said. Then I added some more, and it's exactly what he said. So it was a process. And then Iffy, Iffy's basically my moderator. Like she takes care of a lot of other. Yeah, she takes care of a lot of things. Like people can go to her or they can come to me. It doesn't matter. But as you start growing, you need more than just the one person. And both King Sam and Iffy really like stepped up into those roles, and it does make a huge difference. But now, just like everybody else has said, just like Riley has said about his, like, hey, he's got this and this and this and this. I've got one where you can request a feud. I'm very honest up front. It might not happen, but you can request a feud. You can share pictures of your CAW. You can do this. If you put the wrong stuff in the wrong Discord, I will copy it, put it in the right place so that and I will delete it, because I don't want to see 800. Like I see this in a lot of Discords too, where in every single channel, why have multiple channels if in every channel you're sharing every link of everything on the planet?
Exactly.
In my Discord, you cannot at everybody. There's only 3 of us that can at everybody. And I try to be very, if it's my live show, bam, I'm doing it. If it's a video, bam, I'm doing it. If it's an announcement. Otherwise, even me, I get in the general chat. I will put it out if it's not the biggest pertinent information, and I will put it, I'll put that out, because I don't want. A lot of people are in the Discord. We all have Discords here. You know what I mean? So I don't want to add everybody and kill. There's channels and Discords that I have muted because it's too much. It's overwhelming even for me. With 2K25 coming up, if you guys, if you're creators out there and you're listening and you started making a wish list like 4 weeks before the game came out, what are you doing? Like nobody, way too late. You got to make the wish list like a week after the game comes out, 6 months after the game comes out, if you even hope that anybody sees it. But anyway, I just put it in there so that we can start talking about it and we can start getting ideas. And it's a place for people to go and talk about 2K25 or 2K26 when it comes up. And then speaking of this, and I didn't talk about this earlier, but as far as like the rules, And you guys brought this up. I have a spreadsheet in my Discord that has the complete championship history. I've even gone back because Riley says, hey, he ran 3 E-Federations. That I know Triple Beets is running 3 right now. That is amazing. So my universe journey went from TSW, and then we got bought out by the WWE. I didn't like how that was going. Immediately went into WCW 2.0 to get to where I was going. And there could be other things in the future too. So I am putting the rest of the entire 6 seasons of my universe into the thing. The men's is already done. The universal titles are already done. A lot of people, I go into their thing and I'm like, yeah, not just who's the champion, but who was your 4th champion? Who won the belt? Who won it the 4th time? Nobody knows. Amazing. You guys do. I was like, I have the utmost respect. If you see the spreadsheet, I'm a spreadsheet guy. I've run businesses for a long time. So I love spreadsheets. I didn't want to overcomplicate it, but you have the entire history. You have the point systems of my titles and the history of how those point systems go. So if you think you're being done wrong, you can go right in there. You can say, no, I won the U.S. title 4 times. And okay, yeah, you've got the 4 points right on there. You know what I mean? So whatever it is, however you run it. But our championships absolutely matter. There's statistical value for them. And what you've done in the universe matters. So, shout out to King Sam for taking the idea that I had and even taking it a little bit further, but he has done a phenomenal job. If you guys ever need something done, he is big into E-Feds.
Great dude.
He had this great idea, and he had this other idea. And speaking about the Wrestling Syndicate, he had this thing where he's going to create this Discord, and he's like, and I'm going to tell all your people. I'm like, no, you're not. My people aren't going into the wrestling this big thing. I said, because I don't know the other people that are in it.
Exactly.
I would feel very comfortable now getting to talk with the 4 of you.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a couple other people that I'd feel comfortable with. But if my number one thing, and I said this, was to protect my community. So we have the general chat where people are not in character. And I have a thing where you can cut any promo you want. If you mentally cannot handle having somebody cut a promo on you, you never have to go into that channel.
Good point.
Ever. So you can stay in the general chat and you're fine. Or if you want to go in there and have fun and cut some promos, people know they can go into that channel on my Discord and cut promos and do whatnot. But I'm telling you, I'm a Discord novice. So I started out with 2 or 3 little channels, and then it grew, and I watched Blaise's grow. So I love getting into people's Discords and seeing the stuff now.
I think I'm about done. I am a scatterbrained squirrel head too, sometimes, like Beat said, but it's I've been in Discords where there is literally 100 channels and 7 of them are the same. Like Totes is saying, I'm like, what are you doing? The idea is to organize it. And unless it's organized in different groups and channels, and there's so much more, like Totes is alluding to, that I haven't learned about Discord yet. And I think it's going to open up so many things for what we do to enhance the products. And I know Totes is like this too. He got the notebooks. He's keeping track. Riley keeps track of his stuff. There's a lot of feds out there. I know they say they go by they go by points and stuff. But if I go how many points I got, Totes will be able to tell you exactly where you're at, where you won, what you've done, and that speaks volumes. Here's a stack of cards of the past people that have been in the Federation. Here's the match cards for all of last year. Every single match card. And people pull my card on it once, like, yeah, right. And I'm like, all right. Here's Saturday, May 4th. Here's the parking lot brawls we did in the Star Wars show. Aiden fought Dragonheart. Jay Vulture fought Rick. I mean, it's all, see, he's the same way. And that, everyone doesn't have to do that. But I'm just saying, if you do, look, if you keep track, it's going to help you. If it's a small amount of keeping track or a lot of keeping track, how many times have I been champ? I do the whole level up thing now where people have a number, how many titles they won, how many title reigns, because you guys started that. You guys were doing it. So I said, why not label it? So you can go to the website, and I'm going to have a channel. Basically what I do now in the show chat is just link to the website where all the champion history is. So if I got someone to chat going, how many titles have I held? Who was the last title here? And that's important. If you want to do a promo on the last champion or who's held that title the most, now you have that ammunition. And Totes was a perfect segue into our final segment here tonight, which is getting into the transition into 2K25. There was one more about CAW uniqueness, but that's better probably for the conversation when we talk later on. We talked about our feds, how we set them up, how it works. We're going to have that third show when we talk about creating your CAW. Do your personality traits, for God's sake. They matter. The sliders are personality traits. I just got 2 people. They didn't do it. And I'm like, I understand too. A lot of people, they just forget to do it because they know to do the attributes and the overalls and stuff. And I'm going to bring this podcast back. This is something I wanted to talk about after the game drops so we can talk about. And shout out to Riley during his casino shows. He will talk about the game as well. Totes already has plans to do, and he does podcasts all the time about updates and things like that. Triple Beet has the Let's Talk CAW podcast. By no means is my channel the only one where you can get this information. You can go to the big YouTubers that can give you the information too initially, but as this game comes out, use the community, learn from each other. Hey, I found out this doesn't work, or this isn't working well, or that's not working well. We're all here together to make the experience better for however we're running it. So the CAW Summit obviously is what we're doing. We're bringing together all these federations. I really wish I could have 50 guests on here, but I don't shut the hell up. It's 2.5 hours. I wanted an hour to 2 hours. It's mainly my fault. I will take the blame. I took pretty much the first hour. I wanted to lay the groundwork on what this CAW Summit was going to be. So in the future, I will talk a little less and let the people speak, because you can come back to this one and learn all about LTD in the first hour. But I wanted to lay the groundwork. Leading by example is what I've always been taught to try to do. But also having a leash and guiding people. Every one of these individuals, all these logos are different people, different feds running their shit their own way. And I love it. This is the biggest. Now there's some that are seasonal. They haven't been around for a while. They come, they do their show. They do it when they can. They have jobs. They have families. There's some people that do it every week. Some people that do it every month. That's what she said, et cetera, et cetera. But, I, unfortunately and fortunately, I have all the fucking time in the world. So I can do 4 shows a week. I can do a podcast. I can go early if I have to. If you're going live, I can go late. Me and Totes worked it out one day. A lot of times you're going to overlap. It happens, like I said earlier. But if it's someone that I know closely that's in our community, and I'm like, I'm going live at 5 and they're going live at 4, I'll go at 6. Or maybe they can go at 3. It doesn't hurt to talk about it first in DMs and try to work it out with the people you're close to. That's a community. And that's what we have. Let's keep it the way it is and keep this. I really have high hopes for the future. When old Gen goes away, the sandbox is coming, people. It is coming, where we can create a universe however we want it. I really believe that. And I'm putting that on record now, like I did 6 years ago, saying that this CAW universe stuff is going to grow to hundreds of feds. It's going to be how we want it soon. I'm going to give a little credit to AEW Fight Forever. The game sucked, but they had intergender fights. They had, different things, mini games. They had that free roaming, stadium titles. Yeah, all these things that now we're seeing in 2K. Virtual basements around the corner. Ultra Pro Wrestling is around the corner. Those 2 games are made off of creations. I'm watching the development. I've been in contact with some people in UPW, which is, I think, UK based, I believe. They do podcasts where they talk to the people. What do you want in this game? Now, the problem is it's not photorealistic. It's more cartoony a little bit. That's going to hold me personally back from using it. I want a TV experience. 2K gives us that. 2K got to step up. And they started to. I think, and odds in the chat or Beat, whoever here can correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we've had a literal creation major update was like 2K15?
It was 15, yeah. That was the last time that these games actually had a major update.
We're playing 2K19 right now, people. We're playing 2K19 with better graphics, more options, different matches. We're playing 2K19, basically. But it's going to evolve. There is a next step to this thing. Some people, when we started in end of 17 into 18, the WWE product, like Totes was saying, it was pretty much garbage. It was still the Vince crap, and it wasn't really that watchable. We had no AEW. There was no other alternative. People were coming in the chat going, "This is better than WWE. I like this better. I want this. This is great. This is like a new universe where you can cuss, you can do this, you can, have different types of storylines. You can help control it and stuff." Thank you, Dubs. I got 10 points from Dubs. But the summit is leading into the gathering. This is building for the new game. It's just coincidence that this happened when the game was coming up. So this is the first episode, and we still got the 2K25 talk here in just a bit. We're going to talk about the new features. To introduce you guys to three guys who I think are geniuses at what they do. Friends of mine, I can say now, compadres in this journey of fantasy wrestling. And I'm glad to have them here. The links are in the description. Triple Beet, check out his channel and his 3 shows that he runs on a regular basis, and the Let's Talk Call Shop podcast, whatever. I can't say it. It's a tongue twister. There's a belt in my hand. Clever name. I don't like to give Riley credit, but there's a belt in my hand. At first, I was like, what the fuck kind of name is that, Riley? People want to know it's you. It's Riley. But then the more I think about it, it suits that son of a bitch, and I love him.
It's the brand, baby.
Yes, it is the brand. I get it. That's why when I did Blaised Radio, I searched YouTube to see if there was another one, because I didn't want to. If you Google Blaised Radio, you're finding my shit. And I had a friend in college named Blaise. He was an Italian dude. Blaise was his first name, Blaise. It's not my real name, people. I don't think Beat or Riley or Totes are our real names either, but we take on these personas. Riley might be his real. I don't fucking know. Anyhow, I researched. I wanted a name that no one else had, so it's easier to find. That's smart business. And radio, because I was never planned on showing my face. It was all supposed to be about the voice, but that kind of backfired in a good way. Totes McGotes, check him out on his shows too. He's doing a lot of the shorts of his old stuff, YouTube shorts, which is brilliant. I love it. The YouTube short stuff and the vertical live stuff is definitely a thing on YouTube. Kind of TikTok-ish, but that's bringing in a lot more people. I did vertical lives for a while, and I got too many people from a country that isn't going to ever incorporate themselves here. And not to discriminate, but it was just a lot of people that are not going to fit in these communities, didn't care about these communities, and kids and trolls. So you got to really, if you're going to do the vertical lives, just be able to weed out all that shit, use it as a part of it to bring people in. And the shorts are great as well to learn more about what he's done in the past, some of his creations, some of the things. So I love what Totes is doing. Check out his channel as well. I had to bring these 3 guys on for a reason, because you guys see we do different things, but we can reiterate, and we're all talkers. I know I talk more than everybody because I'm that guy, but it is what it is. Next week, Sean Monstar, a really good friend of mine for 7 years here on YouTube. Some moron named Blaise McCoy is probably going to run his mouth like an idiot. Crushing Kelly, she does more of a fantasy world where it's based on, I don't know, they can teleport, they can do this, it's real RPG wild stuff, and it's a female perspective too. So we'll talk to Kelly. And Odds, I call him a genius because I think he is when it comes to this video game stuff. I really respect what he does. The guy is like a lockbox of information if you need it, as far as anything in the game. When's the last time they had an ambulance match? I'm sure he's going to put it in the chat here. When's the last time they did this, or when you could do this, or when was universe mode first created? He's going to put it in the chat. He knows it. You guys might too, but that's just a shout out to Odds and his conversation next time as well. So I have Monstar's chat program here, and his is pretty unique because he creates monsters, and he takes the monsters and has them fight real industry stars and are created wrestlers. So it's a trifold, and it's really innovative and fun. And Sean, he digs into me all the time. Love you, you dickhead. Yeah, there he is. Monstar Entertainment. Check him out. Even though you're Canadian, I'll let that slide. Whatever. Odds channel as well. We'll find out a lot more about what he does and what's in that mind. I want to get into that mind of his and find out some more. We can all learn from each other. That's kind of the premise of this whole summit, is learning from each other. I've already learned things today that I didn't know, and I learned about you guys, and I hope you guys out there learned a bunch of stuff too. And that's the name of the game. If you're always trying to get better and learn more, you can improve what you do and how you do it. Crushing Kelly as well. Her BM Blood Moon Federation is also, she's on a little hiatus. She's going to be coming back soon. And Atticus, also helps her run that. But it's a beautiful thing, man. And it's a chant. There's a song. It's an old like hymn. It's called The Channel of Peace. It's about the Beatitudes. And it's basically a channel. Not only is something you turn on to, but it is a channel to take you to a specific place. Channeling what you do, and peace, as Totes so eloquently says, we need more of in the world. At the end of every one of his shows, I have my little spiels. He does the same thing. We're doing more than just having fun with a video game. We're bringing that escapism. We're bringing peace and love and happiness and fun, as well as torment and anger and frustration and all that, all the feels when it comes to EFED. So the next CAW Summit, the third one, will be character setup, development, and promos. And it just so happened that's going to fall a week before the release of the game. So we will get more in depth with players and a couple content creators on how you set up your character. And it's all different. I take in everybody's creations and tweak them a little bit if I have to. You know, some other places create, some other places, they're going to change your character to fit their mold. And there's no wrong way to do it. We're going to talk about promos. We're going to talk about character development. If you have the same damn character for 7 years and you've never changed, that might work. But if you keep evolving it, I'll use Chris Jericho, one of my favorite, gimmick after gimmick after gimmick, getting over. You know, learn if your character's on a 30-game losing streak, buy into that, play into that, feed into that, have fun with that. It's a fucking game, guys. Let's remember that. But we also take it seriously and have fun. So now when 25 comes out, we're going to talk about how we're going to handle the transition a little bit and what we're excited about. Me, what I did the last game, I'm doing the same time this time. The game comes out. I'm going to download it. I'm going to turn the commentary off, the jukebox off, the crowd down, turn blood on, and go live. And I'll start Avatar Wrestling Federation, which is basically old school EFED. Riley's going to come in and say, I want Seth Rollins or whatever. Beat's going to come in and say, I want this guy. Totes will come
Roddy
in and
Piper.
Roddy Piper. Totes will come in and say, I want this guy. That'll be your avatar for the first few weeks as we test out the game. I don't want to just sit there and test out the game. A lot of people do that. Let's make it an EFED old school style where you can come in and be like, I can still do roulette and you win a match and book your John Cena versus Brock, or well, we won't have Brock until Community Creations. But I'm going to start it out with Fantasy Action Wrestling, FAW, which is creations, and we'll test out the game. I'm not going to be the one to show you what GM mode is, or my faction, or the island, or showcase. But we got plenty in the community that will. And we'll share all the links, and we'll all enjoy the game that way. This is how I'm starting out with WWE versus LTD as soon as you create. Take your time creating, people. I know for a fact, I know 2 people out there, I'm not going to call you out. They're going to have me their cause day 2. But here's the problem with that. Have we not learned from 20, 22, 23, and 24? The day 1 patch and the next patch will probably fix some creation shit.
And it's worse than that.
Yeah. So why create right away? We're not doing LTD right away. You got a couple weeks. That's why the gathering in 24 will be the LTD shit. I'll do other stuff there. I mean, if you create too quick, we didn't really get into it, but updating your CAW. Hey, I got a new one this week. Next week, I got another one. Hey, I got another one. Hey, I got another one. Hey, I just got a new entrance. Hey, I got Totes. Thank you, Lord, for finally doing what I've been trying to get people to do. He had a new moveset. Did he upload a whole damn CAW so I had to take up a slot, move it over, delete guys, mess up his momentum maybe? No, he gave me a moveset. I just copied over the moveset. You can upload just the moveset, people. Just an entrance. Totes redid Melinda's stuff not too long ago. So Melinda got a hold of me. If he was like, hey, Totes redid my shit, it's only the first time it's been updated. No problem. Grabbed it. I was like, what is it? Well, the entrance is the same. You can keep the LTD look, but the moveset's been changed. It makes more sense. I'm like, good. I love that. Copy the moveset over. You know, so I have certain things I like when it comes to movesets, and it's in my application. We talked about this before. Your signature 1 normally sets up finisher 1. You can do it, but I'm probably going to change it. Don't make signature 1 a pinning move. You can, but it's going to take away a little bit of the reality, because if I hit my burner which is a fireman's carry stunner. I hit you the stunner, and then Blaise sets up right there waiting for the hook, line, and sinker. That's the finisher. He's setting up his finisher. That brings realism. There's a lot more things that are going to bring realism in the new game. I want a submission in finisher 1 or signature 1. Or I'll dig into your moveset and find your best submission finisher. Outside the ring moves. How many of us have to deal with them going outside the ring? If you don't put your regular finisher in the outside the ring, the realism's a little bit gone. It's like, why isn't he hitting my finisher? Because you don't have it on outside the ring. That's on you. But I will get with people and be like, hey, you can't have this. We don't do this. And it goes back to the individuality of how you run. 3 different modes. You can buy whichever one you want. Most CAW creators are probably going to get the bloodline thing because of all the extras. Last year, they said you got all the unlockables, the base unlockables when you bought the top one. We found out that still wasn't true, but it was more true than it was in the past, where you did get most of the unlockables. I don't play my Riser Showcase. I'm not getting those unlockables. I can't download them if they're on your LTD CAW. Now, same thing goes with the island. Do not, and we don't know the full details of the island yet, whether or not, I highly doubt you'll be able to get an item on the island and then upload your CAW with that item. Then someone can't down. We'll learn about that in a few weeks. I don't want to get into that. It's a huge conversation, but it's for the good. What they're doing is getting ready for next gen and no old gen, which will give us hopefully that sandbox down the road to create whatever we want. Just a little more in-depth on the differences. I'm kind of interested. I've never got any physical stuff from a buy, so I guess we're getting a hoodie and shit. Like I didn't buy like the one where you got the flare. Didn't there one where you got a flare robe or some shit years ago or something?
No, it's a Flair Funko Pop.
Yeah, some shit like that. Like they used to give. I've never gotten that, but so I guess you get that's neither here nor there. But the content is the biggest thing. You want to get that initial DLC, which I don't mind, which is pretty dope. I mean, that's going to be some cool shit to put on your characters that come from the Wyatt 6, which I really hate how they're missing you. I don't want to get into it, but I really wish they would have did that right. It's a very good idea. Anyhow. I buy the top product to get the most out of what the game gives to go into it. But what I really wanted to talk about is coming up, and we're getting everyone's feedback. Available weapons. We got a can lid back again. Odds will probably tell us when the last time, or Beat, you might know, when's the last time we had a trash can lid. It's been a while.
You're going to have to ask Odds on that one next week. So you'll find out next week.
I think I could rival Odds when it comes to wrestling.
Okay, maybe we'll do that. We'll have a debate. We'll have a video video game debate. Now I want to be a game show host, so that'll give me an opportunity to do something like that. Safety cone's pretty cool. What I really wish, and I don't think we're going to get it, trash can we got, and you could smash their head, but you can't put it over their head. Wouldn't that be cool if you could put it over their head and drop kick them? Or do the EO Sky, put it on your head and jump off the top rope? I don't think we're getting that, but it's neither here nor there. Safety cone's cool. It's probably going to be a lot of the same mannerisms, but I wish you could put the safety cone on someone's head. That would be hilarious. And a mannequin arm, probably going to be the same animations as I'm thinking kendo, maybe, or a shovel.
Same animation
Baseball
as the bat.
Probably the bat, yeah. Probably like a bat where you can swing it. I like how they can throw shit at people. That's a nice little addition to last game. I'm not going to
use... Safety cone, you can actually grab them and slam them down on top of, like, they'll hit it right on their backside, we'll call that. And they'll grab it and be jumping around like ow, like it. The Rock. Picture The Rock, because it happened to The Rock a couple times. So, like, he'll grab and, like, oversell. So that's the one cool thing about the safety cone.
Flailing like a fish out of water is what I like to say.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I like that we're getting... Here's the sign. Here's what I'm getting from this. The Chonkla's still there. The megaphone's there. The football's there. So I'm hoping they're keeping most of what's in 24 and 25. Please don't take... I haven't heard it yet, but don't take War Games away from us. I really want War Games to be back. I haven't seen a confirmation of it yet, but that's going to be probably... Community Creations is like the last thing they tell us about. I would love to have a customized War Games. Please, let me put it in my custom arena. That would be amazing. Let me have WCW War Games with a top on it. They can do that. That would be amazing. That's the true War Games to me, but that's a whole nother discussion as well. Create a finisher. I don't really want that back because people are going to fuck that up big time. It's a good idea, but I think letting, like I said, I got 3 levels of engagement. Those that are on the top will be able to create a really good finisher. That goes with custom entrances too. You got people make custom entrances where it makes no sense. If you've seen that, it looks ridiculous. They pose, and next thing you know, they're walking down. No. Same thing with we want as much realism as we can get. So create a finisher. I want story mode. That's what I'm hoping for. Once old gen is gone, we get story mode, which is universe mode, sandbox. Do whatever the hell you want with it. And
welcome to the dark side, Blaise. Like me and Blaise had a debate. He goes, I have PS4, I can't do it. I said, I don't care what you got. Like I want, like, and never in the history of the world have we had current gen, because it's not next gen. This is current gen. It's been around 5 years.
True.
We're like 2 years away from technically what's about to be the PS6. And we're still creating for PS4. I hope they don't do it. I hope they don't start the clock. We don't even know what the PS5 can do, or Xbox Series 1, whatever they call that. I'm not an Xbox guy, but whatever the new Xbox, we don't even know what they can do, because we
haven't even scratched the surface of what these games can do for these wrestling games. I've wanted an open world type thing for a long time where I can interact with people because of Fortnite, how great Fortnite is. That's what that's what I think of when I think of the island and my city stuff or whatever. But what I'm looking forward to is the next level of this game. I'm a computer guy. I sold computers for 10 years, cell phones for 10 years. So the technology side of it, I understood that I needed a PlayStation 5 eventually because it can handle what's coming. I mean, when I sold phones, we went from 3G to 4G to now 5G. I get it. When you enhance technology, it opens up for more. The AI stuff we got right now is phenomenal. You can see videos of people and it's not really them, but it looks like it. It's scary, but it's also exciting at the same time. Totes has talked about that on his show as well. But that's exciting stuff. But it's up to the people to reel it in, use it for what it's worth. Like to be able to virtual reality stuff and play the video game would be cool. But like I said, I'm not a player. It's all about the creation suite. So here's the meat and potatoes for us coming up in 2K25. And I'm going to go to each of you to touch base on, what you're most looking forward to, or maybe not so much. And you guys in the chat as well have been on fire. Let us know what you guys are looking forward to. So new backstage areas. Number one, the NXT is amazing. It's really cool. You can climb up on stuff. There's more interaction. What's the one with all the old WWE shit?
The
archives.
The archives. The archives where you got the SmackDown fish you can jump off and stuff.
There's two different archives.
Really? So the backstage areas are huge, we just got an update where we can do more than 2 people and more matches and stuff, which is cool. Now hopefully we'll get more interaction. I hope. Here's this thing. They make this game for people to play it and interact. That's why when we do AI versus AI in the backstage, no one's opening the door and slamming people's hands in the door. I haven't seen it yet.
They might have fixed it, though. I can't wait till we get to me.
I hope so, too. And that's the thing. When you see all the interaction, like we've had smash into a car, that's been a thing, but you don't see it unless you're playing the game. How about the one thing in the backstage where you climb up and you throw them into the light? That's cool. So all these things. All right. And Beat, Riley, Odds, Totes, anybody wants to answer. I know I've seen it one time. We've played for 7 years, AI versus AI. And they never break the fucking commentary table.
Not one time. Not one time. I've got 100 and some odd episodes. Not one time have they done it. They haven't even done it in a practice thing I've ever seen.
I mean, I've seen the light the table on fire. I've seen that. Very rarely. But if they can incorporate that stuff into our shows, just imagine how much better that would be. Mm-hmm. And here's a good example. Rose, there's a lot of people out there that might not get the game. That's the beauty of this community. Someone will create her for you. Someone can get into DMs. I'm going to have 2 TVs where I got 24 on one screen and 25 on another. That's going to shave so much time off of my transition, because from 19 to 20, for the 2 weeks we were on 20, from 19 to 22, from 22 to 23, 23 to 24, I'm basically just copying the same shit over with a couple tweaks. My arenas, they're all the same. I said the same 40 to 50 arenas, but a little bit different every year. I get it. The Bloodline rules match, some people might use that.
That's a game changer. That match is a game changer.
Stories. Talk about stories, having a faction come out to run in and shit like that. The intergender matches we touched on earlier, I'll reiterate. It has nothing to do with domestic violence. We're not promoting women beating up men or men beating up women. These are fights. Suspend your disbelief. You know, these are the gladiators of today that are fighting. These aren't regular women that, you know, work at a grocery store. These are the baddest bitches on the planet, like I like to put it. And they like to be called the baddest bitches on the planet. I would too. And if you don't want to be in intergender matches, just say so. Not a problem. We're going to work with you. The underground arena, I think, is a cool one too, because it's adding a new element to the game where you go and you can jump off. It's like the barricade, jump off the apron, different interactions we haven't had before. Because my first worry was, because if you know me, I do no exit matches. And even if I turn rollout frequency all the way down to 0, you know, and those sliders to make them go out of the ring more, they're still doing that I'm trying to go out of the ring thing. And it sucks sometimes, but I don't want count outs. I don't want disqualifications, and I don't want people running around the ring for 75% of the match. We want realism in our AI versus AI. So we tweak. We are going to do workarounds. That's all I have done since I've done this. You get the game and you find out, all right, I'm not using Hell in a Cell match because they fucking go around the cage and they don't know to go back into the ring to end the match. I've seen Hell in a Cell matches, if you don't put KO on, an hour and a half. I can't afford to do an hour and a half match unless it's storyline based. Ladder matches. How many times have we had guys that could win the match on the top, they jump off, go back up, they could win it again, they jump off. You know, it's like, because they make the game to play it, not to let two AI guys fight each other. That is starting to change. The ladder match updates is one thing where now you can do finishers and signatures off the ladder. That's fucking gold. Barricade interactions. I just talked about different ways to jump off of it. Now I know they're bringing us the LED barricade, but can we customize it? Well, you know, I don't know.
I believe.
I mean, they just took away a custom image on the barricade to pattern. I couldn't do that this last game, which I love doing. I don't want to use their images. I'm going to use mine and pattern it. So maybe they're bringing that back. Maybe they can, because when you slam someone into the LED barricade, it gets damaged. That's cool. We're going to leave the next one for last because I think it's the biggest one. Universe mode promos is huge. The next gift of gab will be in-ring promos. You'll send me the promos. I'll use the audio. It'll be you standing in the ring. Sure, there's going to be words there we're going to have to, you know, like not read, but it's going to be your voice talking the promos. Chain wrestling, I've heard a couple different things. I've heard that it only works in standard matches. We'll see. Like it's only working in standard matches where they will do that on its own, in which that's what we do is on our own. Assigning a weapon, I'll use Temple for an instance. His character has a barbed wire bat. So I can say when he reaches under the ring, he's going to pull out a barbed wire bat, you know. I don't know how that's going to interact with the wheel. Like does it have to be on the wheel?
The first time they reach under the ring, it'll be that barbed wire bat. The second time, you'll have the wheel.
Gotcha. Perfect. Third person camera. I might not use this as much. I know I love the ramp cam, which I hope they don't take that away either. I doubt it, but you know, who knows? With all these updates, some might go away. Listen, we're excited about this game, but there's going to be shit we're going to get mad about. This don't work. That don't work. Or are they going to patch this? How come I can't put this hair on my guy? Now they're bald, et cetera, et cetera. Why is the eyeball on the side of their face again? How is this happening? Get ready for it. Prepare yourself for it. That's why I'm saying take your time, do your call. Third-person camera, kind of like they do the walk-ins now. They're bringing stuff that's on. You can go behind the character coming down to the ring. That's pretty cool. What I really like is, I talked about it yesterday, in a Rumble, the characters don't just run down to the ring. They're going to do a little bit of their entrance. That's dope. That's more realism. I like it. The women are bleeding, and it's not just once a month. That's my joke. Take offense to it. Go fuck yourself. You know, it's all in fun. We're not for kids.
But only in women versus women matches. Women versus men matches, it'll be off.
Yeah, see that's I'm starting to think. I think you talked about it on your podcast yesterday. When we select blood on, are we going to be blood on for women and men? Is there going to be like an extra option possibly? We'll see. We'll find. There's a lot of things we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Riley's going to love this one. Guest ref improvements. He is one of our guest refs that we use. He wanted to come back into the federation, but not fight. So he is our head ref, our lead ref. hashtag best ref, he likes to say. But and at first I didn't like the guest refs because I thought they were just standing around and not doing what they should do. But the more maybe some patches helped it or whatever, it does look a lot better. And I like that you can put them in whatever gear you want and stuff. New AI moveset.
Hold on, before you pass guest ref, just so you guys know, because this is amazing.
Good.
You can now put guest referees in up to 6-person matches, and it's no longer a match type. Now it is an option inside of the match that you can either turn on the guest referee or turn it off. So you could have a 3-on-2, turn on guest referee, and then select the guest referee instead of it being a match type, which was really creating problems, I think.
Yes. Thank you. And that's one thing I meant to say and I didn't. So you guys got me already. Just interrupt my ass if you got something that needs to be said. I don't mind. I will not take offense. And that is gold, man. That's cool. Like to have a tag match with a special guest ref, shit like that. Like, I mean, it makes sense if you think of it technically. All they're doing is putting a visual on the movement of what that ref is going to do. You know, I've seen more of when you do a special guest ref match, you'll see more of the slow count or the fast count stuff because we're just setting it on an AI. We're not actually playing the ref where you earn that, where the ref kicks somebody out or the ref gets kicked out and some other ref comes down. The AI, I don't know if you guys have seen the AI trigger that. I don't think the AI is going to trigger that.
I've seen it.
Really?
I saw it in one of the recordings I was doing. I'm recording the Champions Cup finals right now. And the last match is an Iron Man match. And the referee was slow counting on one of the guys. He got mad. He hit his finisher on the referee like 3 times. And then the referee retaliated and actually attacked him. Didn't count, refused to do anything, and he got thrown out. But it was like 2 minutes before the end of the match.
Here he is. 2014, we used to have the ability to have 2 guest refs in a match. That's very cool.
I might correct you there because I'm currently working on 2K14. It was only 1 ref. 2 refs was all the way back in Here Comes the Pain.
Save that for the debate. Odds versus Riley. The video game debate of a lifetime. Hey, Fiery Death, what's happening, man?
What's up, Fiery?
If I missed anybody else, hopefully the mod said hi because we got into really good conversation in the meat and potatoes of this. The last one, I think, is the biggest one. It's AI moveset settings. This is the linchpin into what the sandbox can be. I only want this move used in the beginning of the match. I only want my finisher used at the end of the match. You can set the frequency, you can set, and what I understand, you guys can correct me if you've heard more, there's like 150 moves where you'll be able to actually do that. Not all of them, which I'm hoping they did that to the ones that make sense. But that adds more realism, right, guys? I mean, it's like that's the first sign of a sandbox that we're waiting for where you can literally do whatever you want. And here's the thing. I know there's a lot of, sorry guys, there's a lot of simpletons out there that are just going to try to put that on every one of their damn moves or whatever. I'm telling you right now, and I think I speak for all 3 of us, we're going to look at your call when you send us shit. We're not just going to say, here you go fight. I do that for a bunch of reasons. I use 100 overall. A lot of people don't. So I don't care if it's 90 or whatever for a different federation. I'll fix that. No problem. And there's no wrong or right. I've just been taught. We've had people in the past that have abused that. And because you don't see it on universe mode, they're going to put their characters down to 60 and fight 100. So their characters win. It's bullshit. That's one reason. But we saw a 35 beat 100 like a couple weeks ago. Harvey Gibson, sorry, TJ Toad, but a manager at a 35 beat 100 in a legit AI versus AI. And listen, if I was going to lower anybody's stats, it would have been Rex against Totes. So Totes would have beat that little son of a bitch. But Totes knows the game. He's playing along. And look what we've done to that story. He cheated and put a device on the ambulance to make it close the first time.
I've never seen that happen in the history of the world. In all of my testing, I've never seen that happen. It was amazing when it happened. Like, I was like, what the? But I was like, that's so amazing because I've never seen it.
Now, I have it set with because I was talking to Beat and Odds, and I was like, how can I make the ambulance match faster? So turning a couple settings differently so it doesn't last forever. I wanted the ambulance matches to be slower because they go forever. And then you got knocked out in a match where you didn't know knockouts were on. So I played right to that. And it was a grass outside and Totes got right back up. So I'm like, wait, he didn't even get knocked out. So he's cheated twice. So if I was going to cheat, I would have done it for him. But
that's a perfect example of playing along with whatever the damn game gives you and having fun. I felt horrible. I was like, Totes he deserves to have his character beat this son of a bitch, because they had a lot of similarities. So people were asking for that match. And people, listen, every time someone would win roulette and stuff, they were trying to book that match. And I was like, no, I want to tell a story. And the story was they were in a War Games and they barely collided. They were in a Rumble and they barely collided. They were in a G6 match and they barely collided. It built so perfectly to those two matches. And now we got one more. It's going to be pin only. Go, whatever, Gav. There's people that like Rex, believe it or not. So I want to give each of you time to either touch base on which ones you're most excited about, which one you think is the best, and how you're transitioning your federation. So twofold question here for the final question. How are you going to, if there's anything specific or interesting, unique to how you're going to, there we go. How you doing, Ben? Good to see you. Grand Prix Wrestling. If you're not checking out Grand Prix Wrestling, like Totes, I've heard him say and other people, what are you doing with yourself? Go over there, check out Grand Prix Wrestling. They have been doing phenomenal shit for a very long time. I will put myself on blast. I have Sunshine Marigold, my in-character daughter over there. I don't get involved as enough. She's lost like 18 matches in a row. She's losing. And that's partially my fault. I know the guys that run the federation, Ben, Tony, Chance, anybody else involved, they do a great job behind the scenes and putting on a product. I really wish you guys had commentary. I know you did before, but the way they structure their show from show to show is brilliant. So check out Grand Prix Wrestling. So for this one, we're going to go in the order we brought you in. We're going to start with Riley. Which ones do you want to highlight, maybe talk a little bit about what's your favorite, and how are you transitioning your company, which is a little unique because you use the old games too, into 2K25?
So for me, it's going to be the guest refs. Honestly, like when we heard guest referee, like I was hearing a bunch of shows saying, oh, we're going to have official referees and completely different attires. And like, it kind of happened. Like I saw some shows try to do it, not to the best of the ability, but like now you can really get it done now that like, and hearing more about it, the fact that the whole, like, it's not even a match type now. It's a mode you just turn on and off. That's a game changer for digital wrestling. And that kind of stuff. And what I'm doing to transition into 2K25, I've already started it on my show. I have a whole story that's involving the older games. Like you said earlier in the show, I had a show that I don't think has ever been done in the history of this community, in the history of WWE games. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Like I know
may have been, but
versions of what I did has happened before, but nobody has ever gone live on 4 different wrestling games, one supercard stretched along 4 different wrestling games, and we made it into a story. I found a time machine from Lance Romance's son, and we used that time machine to go into those old video games and go back and pass. And at the end of the show, I nearly almost got ran over and my time machine broke. It was in flux. So when I tried to get us back to WWE 2K24, we ended up in WWE 2K14. So the next show, Regional Wrestling Legends Monthly 11, is going to be called The Butterfly Effect, because stuff in the past is affecting our present right now.
That's a perfect example of being creative, being unique, trying to do something different. Everyone, I mean, there's something you can do out there that can be a little bit different. You know, I've taken bits and pieces from a lot of different stuff. The digital cards that I do, I'm a graphic designer. That's what I used to do for part of my job right out of college. So I wanted to do the cards to give people a card. People want cards. They want to have a card of their character. I'm a card collector too. You know, I don't do the in-game card stuff, but, you know, I took that from the WU had cards for their characters and stuff. And I'm like, how cool would it be if you go to your roster page on the website and there's your digital card? It tells you your finishers, their height, their weight, their championships, their nickname, and a picture, 2 different pictures of their wrestler. You know, I love doing that. I'm going to be releasing 8 more next week on my podcast. So there will be new ones, one for the referees. So Riley's actually on 2 cards. Why the hell am I doing that? But here we go. Huge show with different feds going back to 2. Yeah, but not 4. See, Odds is trying to correct you saying there. I've seen them too, where people use, and that's the brilliancy. Using OBS and stuff like that, you can do that. On my PlayStation, if I want to go out and go to a different game, stream's over. Can't go to a different game. So it's fine. And that's trying to be, going back to what we talk about, be unique. Try as much as you can learn from other people and take little things here and there. Try to do something someone's never done or whatever. All right, Triple Beet. What are you looking forward to, and how are you transitioning into 25?
I'm looking forward to the new backstage arenas that they're going to have, and the island content. The reason for the island that I'm excited is if I can swap out characters and have a different if I could put a different character there, I could have them cut a promo somewhere on the island or do something and utilize that for my story, capture it in video format, throw it into the Share Factory, edit it, and use it. Same with the backstage arenas. I can have someone in a parking lot getting out of a car, walking to the arena. Like, that is exciting to me. And their new backstage areas, the even the, what is it called? The one that has all the
Squirrel.
No, the Vault. There you go. The
Yes.
WWE Vault. That one is perfect for one of my older characters, for Demolition, the character that you guys see me use in my Discord. It's perfect for him because he was an old WWE guy. That's his backstory. So he could cut a promo from the Vault. Of all my characters, he could be the one that would do it. The intergender matches, I'm a little mixed on that. I have a few female CAWs who are known for fighting guys back in the day. And one of them is actually, ironically, Kitty, who Goddess told me I better create right away when the game starts up. Well, Goddess, I'm making her, literally, she's the first call that I'm making this year. So you don't have to worry about that. She's my career mode call. But the thing that I'm looking probably the most forward to are those Universe promos, because I'm going to try and use Universe for 2 of the shows this year.
Good. Sorry.
I was going to say, in my transition into 25, my plan is to, and I've already started, I have 2 episodes of MXT and 2 episodes of Galaxy already recorded. I'm working on the first episode of Octane, and I just finished the Champions Cup. So my plan is to have all those episodes lined up so I can stream those on Sundays. And then the rest of the week, when the game drops, I'm in there playing all the modes, unlocking everything. That's probably going to be the first month of the game cycle for me, is unlocking everything. And then it's a month or 2 of creating. And just creating arenas, creating CAWs, creating belts. And I love those streams because those are the most interactive streams I get with my audience.
I'm glad you brought one thing up that I was thinking about, especially for the pre-recorded shows out there, because I'm not familiar with My City and NBA 2K, but if you can screen capture video from when you're on the island, that opens up so much stuff. Walking into a shop, I just did the angle where Chance died in the hospital and Cougar brought him back. How cool would it be? Because I had to mentally draw that picture for you guys. And if you've watched real wrestling, you've seen the car pulling up in the back. Out comes the door, and a high heel steps out. It's a woman. It's Cougar. Wait, someone else is in the car. He's not dead. It's Chance. Like, if I could have had those 2 step out of a car in the background, how amazing would that have been? So recording island parts can be phenomenal for stuff. Like, I could even think of, like, from what I heard, you have to have like a PlayStation Plus account to play the island because it's, or something like that. I don't think you can just, so I wouldn't be able to do it. I let my PlayStation Plus run out. But I would almost want to go on the island just to do screen recordings to use on podcast. You know, stuff like that. But I can't wait to see what you people do with that. The intergender thing, I forgot to talk about this since you brought it up, and Totes brought this up on his podcast the other day. We're not going to have a 100-pound 5'9" woman against a 500-pound 7-foot guy. That's not what the reasoning behind it is. That takes away realism. You know, we're talking about the Chinas, the Rhea Ripleys of the world, the big, huge women that are cut that, you know, can size up to a man and do stuff like that. That's, you know, YouTube shorts as well and stuff like that. You're talking about my shorts? I'm not wearing any pants, Goddess, so I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, recording island parts just to see, walking into a Nike store and, you know, I'm very interested in it. I watched the video that Totes was talking about and some of the other ones that, you know, I don't know about my city. Like I was talking to people like, yeah, you can go to a basketball court, you put yourself in line, you go and play one-on-one against somebody. So they're talking about having live events. So if that's like 20 people that have their own wrestlers free roaming and you go sign up for this arena and they put on a show, that's freaking incredible. But then here's my problem. The servers suck already at handling this game. How are they going to handle that? Be prepared for the island going down day one. You know, just be prepared for that. But the idea behind it, once again, I'll reiterate this. When old gen goes away, and I think Totes was talking about this too. You buy everything year one on the island. They bring out 2K26. All that shit's gone. Or will they find a way that you can transition if they keep the island the same, maybe you can keep it. I don't know. That's going to be a big issue until they stop.
Gone. Like it's gone. The NBA city is already proved it's gone.
See, that's where the sandbox, they need to keep the same game and just evolve it and you buy it. Cause they're making, I saw a video on someone. He was like, man, you'd think the game would be cheaper now that they're going to make shit tons of money off of. It's like $4 for a t-shirt, $4 American dollars to buy a t-shirt,
$12 for a jacket.
Well, for a jacket. And here's the thing. One Rhea Ripley just has a saying on it. I could just upload that image and put it on a shirt. And then we're going to talk a lot more about this once the game drops and stuff. Can you upload stuff with island features on it? Will that block it should block a download. I mean, I can't download stuff if it's my Rise shit on it right now, you know? But last game, most of the unlockables were all the WrestleMania arenas last year. I don't need any of those, you know? So it's going to be really weird. So Totes, now what you're most excited about with these and how you're transitioning your company into 2K25.
So what's crazy is I can, and we didn't talk about this a whole lot, but I call what I do to wrestlers, like if you uploaded a wrestler, there's only one I've never done it to. Every other wrestler I Totesify them. Like they get face scans, like it doesn't matter what it is, like, and it's on another level. You've seen WCW, their outfits are on another level. The Bloodline match is a WCW match. Like that's why I'm like, for me, that's a game changer. That's not the thing I'm most excited about. I love all the stuff that's going on, like, and hats off to Triple Beet. There's not a lot of things I found positive about the island because I lived through the NBA 2K City and I stopped playing it after 3 years because it was just a cash grab every year. I couldn't spend enough money. I don't have enough time. If you got a full-time job or a part-time job, you don't have enough time either. And now they're like, you get 4 accounts. I'm like, you can't do it with 1 account. But anyway, I digress. Like I've done a whole podcast. So you guys go check that out. But
yes, definitely.
The thing that I am most excited about, I love all the stuff that I see. I love everything you guys have talked about. But in my universe, that new AI movesets adds 3 more levels of AI settings to my universe. So there's already 4 settings. I talk about it a lot in the podcast or in all the podcasts, but one, I really broke it down and what every single one of those things mean, like setting your persona, setting the things for the stuff. Now I can set everything up. And this is where people get messed up on with the things that we do. If you're doing AI versus AI, if I make my wrestler and it goes into Blaise's, it goes into Riley's, and it goes into Triple Beet's universe, I don't care what I've got my settings are. I don't care what my persona settings are. There are other things in their universe because they're not set to my AI settings that will override some of that stuff. Like he'll act a certain way, but as you saw Rex versus Totes, it does not act a certain way. So there's certain things that will and will not happen. And I think that's what also makes like it really, really good. Like if Totes was dominant in every single one, like why watch Totes? You just know he's going to win. Like that's not even the fun part of it. Like I like being able to tell the story in the ring. And so with these AI move settings and being able to say, I don't want them doing like my move sets are based off DDTs. So I don't want them to do the big DDT moves. I don't want them to do the reverse DDT, the Scorpion Death Drop in the beginning of the match. I want that to be set up moving forward, you know? So really looking at the master crafting. And I say that because now it takes already about 3 hours to create every single wrestler. And again, 99 wrestlers, right? There's probably 10 of you out there that make your own wrestlers. I create all the rest of your wrestlers. So that's a lot of time that goes into doing this to set up the next thing. I can get my universe, though, up and running because I need 3 arenas. I need all the title belts. So it's about 15 title belts. You can create those a little bit faster. But I don't need all of them. I only need 2 in each one to run my very first show and to set up my universe the right way. Because when I set up the universe, I tear down everything. I delete everything in the universe. I delete all the shows. I delete all the stuff, and I set it up a certain way. I delete all the rivalries, all the managers, and I re-put them in a different way because in your universe, I don't let the universe book my shows either, but at least it comes a little bit closer to the interactions that will happen in those shows. So it's a little bit less work, a lot of work up front, a little less work, but typically within 1 week, I can switch over to the new game because what I do day one, I don't play online. I don't play on stream. I run like 4, 6, 7, 8 hour streams where it's just me creating wrestlers. Sweet. And creating the belts and creating the arenas. That way people can see. Now that this year's the first year we started doing podcasts, now I can show the behind the scenes like, hey guys, this is how you like to set up. And we can talk about how the AI sliders. So the coolest thing that happened, the worst and the coolest thing that happened like in 2K22 was they came out with the AI sliders for your shows and for like a lot more in depth. The worst thing that happened was that dev team took the spaghetti code from the last game that caused all the problems, and they had, and I don't get it. I'm just going to pretend like I got it, but I don't get it. I get why it might not have been perfect, but they needed to rebuild universe mode, and they did this. They did, and hats off to them for this part. They had 4 different parts of the game, and none of those 4 parts talked. When they released 2K22, 3 of the parts did talk, but Universe didn't. So when they do the updates to Universe mode,
remember that
it doesn't update, and it hasn't updated in 2K22, 23, and now 24. In 2K25, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, it seems like with the stuff they just did, when you look at all the stuff they just added, yeah, some of them are matches, some of them are extra arenas. They completely rechanged with that underground arena. I thought of Temple when I saw that, but like I'm not going to have a lot of underground matches, but that underground match changed the physics of the way the wrestlers wrestle on the edge of the ring. That's huge. The Bloodline Rules match changed some things. The third person, like all the things that they're doing. So I'm hoping that they got rid of a lot of that spaghetti code. And that's why I'm very excited. If you listen to the last podcast, and I say at the end, I said, it sounds like I'm not excited. I'm not excited about the island because I know where this leads. I was like, look, all of us are going to pretend and be optimistic, like we don't know where it's going. Yeah, we know where it's going. Like, I hope, I'm just like everybody, I hope it doesn't. But there's still a lot of good things, and it won't happen in 2K25. This is just the base, just like when they did GM mode. This is the base. The next year it'll be a little bit different, and hopefully the backlash from the community will lead them down a different road. Like, because it's a great idea, and I don't mind spending money, but that mode should be for a free game. That mode should be a Fortnite. I'd spend all kinds of money if that was a free mode I could download. I'd be like, yeah, these guys need to make money. Let me spend the money. It costs in 2K25, or in the NBA City, it costs about $40 to take your guy up to an 80. And you can do the same thing.
That's nuts.
I know, and you can do the same thing. Now you're paying full price for a game plus $40, and like you said, I pay $140 with tax.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to have to pay another $40, $80. It takes over $100. It's about $109. It's more than that, but roughly the way it works out, to take your wrestler or your NBA player to $99, the road, the quest to
Yeah.
99. And there's just people that have jobs, and so the grind gets too bad to where it doesn't matter. So anyway, that's a whole nother, obviously we've done podcasts about it, but I hope they learned from it. But these are the same guys that are saying, you paid $60 for a game, like the full price game, that couldn't even get the My Faction cards right, where you're paying $60 to $95 for one wrestler. I mean, get out of here. It should be $1.99. I've run a lot of businesses. Me and Blaise have talked about this. You know how many people I could hook for $1.99 to $4.99? Every one of you guys be buying cards right now.
I've always said if they had a $150 option where everything's unlocked, I'm buying it.
Yep.
Like all the My Rise and Showcase stuff is unlocked. If you pay $150 or $160, I'm buying it. As a creator, I have to. And here's I'm the light at the end of the tunnel, silver lining guy. I know people sometimes can't stand it because I don't bitch about shit nonstop. I always try to find the good in everything. They paid attention to creators last year. What's the status did with modding and got banned and all that shit? PC is going to be gone next year from creations. Gone because of next gen or current gen, which I like that, but they paid attention to creators. But I also want to be real about it, folks. As big as the eFed world has gotten, it's still maybe 5-10% of the people that play this game. Kids, casuals, wrestling fans that buy the game to play it. It's still a very small. That's why they don't say, hey, we extensively tested this game on AI versus AI. Hey, we have this dev we hired just to let the game play itself. We've never heard that. And two things we didn't really talk about, which Totes kind of talked about. We didn't talk about game sliders, setting the overall game sliders to affect certain things. Me and Triple Beet had a conversation last time about the finishers and signatures, where you can make them so if they hit 3, it's probably going to be the last time they hit them. You can stagger that. I wasn't doing that, but then once I did it, sure enough, I don't want someone hitting a finisher 17 times. I don't want them getting the pin after 1, early in a match, which back with AI settings, that goes back to that. We haven't talked about the universe mode settings. Like Totes said, a lot of those times with the patches, you would change everything. You'd set your game sliders, but your game sliders were saved on what the original ones were. They weren't taking. So you're doing universe mode thinking, I got these new sliders. Nope. You're still playing on the old sliders. But, these are signs for good things in the future for Twitch. You're one I'd love to have on one of these too. The head nurse is one of his characters. I always throw Rex after her. She hates it. The new mechanics will play well to a lot of the stuff you do. He uses a lot of anime characters and stuff in with creative characters. Very unique shit. Twitch always was one of the ones that would do a podcast where he's sitting talking about the game or talking about trolls or calling people out. So he's been a voice of this community for a really long time. And he's also been doing it for a really long time too. I give a shout out to Vince McSham too. 20 years in the eFeds. 20 years. He's been doing YouTube eFeds for 20 years. Which he doesn't do creative characters. It's all his own universe with the people in the game, which I also found out the game runs a lot easier if you don't have 99 CAWs, 50 custom arenas, and 1,000 custom images. If I could have one thing fixed in the game, that would be it. That it can. Yep. I know. Odds has argued with me a lot, but I say the game's not made for AI versus AI. Then why do they have this many slots? Why do they have this? Good question. And then when we get a patch, it's going to fix X amount of things and break X amount of things. Maybe we get less of that this time. Yeah, in my interview with Vince, if you go back and watch it, I interviewed him. He's done that, and he's also spot on with his imitations of commentators and stuff. He's a great voice actor. So we got one last segment, which is very short, and it's something that I used in. Where's my other layout? There we go. I used in my interview series where I have a little pet peeve when people say to tell the truth or not going to lie or honestly a lot. Like everyone says it. We all say it. But everyone out there knows someone who says to tell the truth, honestly, not going to lie, not all the time. I always say, what, do you normally lie? Are you saying you always lie and now you're not? It's just a fun way to say it. Plus, we also know people who say at the end of the day a lot. Totes said it a couple times earlier. Other people have. We all do. I do. But I always thought
there's a couple people that I know that say it like nonstop. And I'm like, it's literally 12 o'clock. What do you mean end of the day? The day ain't even halfway over. But I figured why not turn it into a segment? So this is our final thoughts as we leave the Summit 1, which I was hoping for 2 hours, but 3.5 ain't bad. We got a lot to discuss. I wanted to lay the groundwork, like I said. You guys have had great, amazing input about how you run your federations, how you run your companies, what we're looking for in the game, what the future holds. And I truly want, and Totes said it best earlier, and before you start talking, you're muted again. Make sure you unmute. I just noticed that. I'm like, he's going to start talking. I don't want to waste his breath. But we have to protect the community. We have to continue. And if there's people, doing things that they shouldn't do, let's call them out on it. Let's talk about it in the back. I've always been the one that I've never fired a character out of character on the live. And I've seen people do that. You haven't been here for 3 weeks. You're fired. There's a human being behind that character. Let's realize, and I always say this too. I have a lot of people that are physical or mentally disabled that are on my community, in our communities. And I do not want to alienate them. If they can't promo, reach out for help. If you're not confident on your voice, not a problem. If you don't want to play your character as well, that's okay. I had someone who just said, I haven't been to the shows because I've been busy. I haven't seen that person for 3 months. You've been that busy for 3 months? And then I got Digital Dog, who's also busy, leaving 20 comments on a show, watching a replay. Luckily, us three and many other are blessed enough that we have a community and a fan base. Yes, we have fans, believe it or not, that love what we do and are going to come back. So if you want into our companies, number one, follow the rules. Number one, communicate. You seeing a recurring theme? These are all the things we talked about today. So that's why they were major points. Protect the community, share what you learned from the new game, and let's make 25 the best ever when it comes to EFED and CAW. So here's our final segment. Like I said, a lot of people say this saying, and I wanted to turn it into a segment, and you have to say your final comment. You have to start it with, at the end of the day, this. All right? So here's our final segment. Shout out to my brother, Jeff. That's his voice. A lot of his songs on the band Mobus. We have a voice that are kind of similar. And when he was in high school and like girls would call, they'd be like, is Jeff there? And I'm like, yep. This is before everyone had a phone. We had these things on the wall called phones. They'd be like, is Jeff there? I'm like, yeah, this is Jeff. So, yeah, a lot of his songs. And that goes back to the content that you guys have given me, the commercials, the music and all that. It really makes the product so much better. So we're going to start in reverse order. Start out your final thought for this evening with at the end of the day, and then your PSA for the community. Totes, you're up first, brother.
Guys, look, at the end of the day, we're all out here. We're doing our thing. You guys are there doing your thing. And I hope that this is like an escape for you guys. Because that's really why I do it. I missed wrestling. I missed why it was going on. But even more important than that, when you look around the world and the landscape of the world of what's happening, and I'm not talking about politics and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, we run into people and we always use this excuse where it's like, hey, I was mean because that person was mean, or I'm nice because that person's nice. Stop giving those people the power over you. It's dumb. Like, I don't know if you realize that. I had somebody tell me that's how they put it to me. And I was like, hold on, I don't like to be dumb. It's dumb. You don't have to do that. Nobody has to influence your decision. So when people are out there, maybe somebody's nice to you. And I'm not saying we're always going to choose it, but maybe we show that person a little bit of grace. Maybe that is the thing they needed in their life to see how it was done. So when you see people in the chat, you see them out in real life, seriously, let's show some people some grace. Let's help them out. Let's get them maybe onto the next level of their life and show them that even if people are not so nice to us, they don't have the power to make me not nice. I can be nice, or I'll punch them in the mouth either way. But that's all I'm saying.
Love it. Love it. And I mean, This is where I'm going to end where how I started after you two, and I'll try not to get emotional, but I can't guarantee it. And you guys in the chat know how I am. Triple Beat at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, there's a real person behind every character. Even if they have 50 characters, there's still a real person behind each of those characters. So when you're cutting your promos, when you're doing your stuff, work with people, work with the community, and don't jump in and cut some scathing promo against someone that you've never met, because you, like Blaise always says, you never know where that person has been. So at the end of the day, treat the people in the chat the way that you want to be treated, and everything will go good.
That's the golden rule, man. Literally the golden rule. And I said the golden rule of CAW or EFED is, if you can't get along or enjoy what one Fed does, find a different one. Do us all a favor, you know. And I want to give a shout out to a couple people in the chat that have chimed in. If I can do it, anyone can. Iffy, amen. And the way she assimilated with my weird ass community, the island of misfit toys, I like to call it, was amazing. Like, her and Count got along, and I was busting her balls like, no, you're not allowed to get along with Count. But it's just a great thing. And I want to shout out to Witcher. She cut her first promo ever in the Gift of the Gab. I know Totes has helped her out. Other people in the community has helped her out. She's amazing. She clips her videos, her matches, and puts it on her channel. I love it. And she asked for approval first, which I was, amazed by. And that's free advertisement, just like you guys clipping your own stuff, something funny, and putting it out there. So shout out to both of them for everything they do and being part of that community. I'm so happy to have all these new people in this community. And I'm not claiming them, but after I found Solo Season, then I found Totes, then I found Temple, then I found R2K, Dubs, Vipero, Digital Dog, Eagle, all those guys. They're amazing people, and we love having you guys in this community. You guys have blended in perfectly. You're a huge part of this community, and I can't wait to see what's next for all you guys. And listen, I will bring new people in the community this year too. It's just a matter of who. I will reach out. I will find more people. That's what I love to do. All right, this ought to be a good one. At the end of the day, Riley.
Oh, it will be.
Riley freaking Wolf. You had a prepared speech again like you did last week?
No. Don't worry.
All right, go for it.
Don't worry. It's not that in detail. At the end of the day, you guys are absolutely amazing. You guys killed it in the stream today. We have 31 people here now, 54 likes. I want to do a tradition on my channel for my end of the day. For you guys getting to 54 likes, I'm going to take a shot for you guys. So thank you guys. At the end of the day, you guys are amazing.
Cheers.
Wow.
Cheers to you, Riley. I got ginger ale from my stomach, but I'll have a shot later.
I only have bourbon, so again, I'm on a diet.
Well, very well said. And look, little son of a bitch popping in here with the eyeballs. Grinder Gang, Chance Harper. I'm so glad you're not dead. You came back from the dead. Chance will be joining me on the third CAW Summit, along with Cassie, who's in the chat. Goddess, who's in the chat, Mordrin and Tiny, as well as, I know I'm forgetting somebody else. They're gonna kill me if I forget him too. Counts Raidnock, yeah. So he can go fuck himself anyway. So that's gonna be interesting. We're gonna talk about character development stuff next week. We got Odds. I'm sure he'll correct me about a bunch of the stuff and educate us all, and we'll have fun with it, as well as Monstar. He's gonna get the tequila for a shot. There you go. Chances.
There we go.
So we took the tree fitty thing, the tree fitty joke. Was it? We took that joke to another level, because in the middle of my stream the other day, I was like, after I brought him back from life, I was like, he was dead for 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So now, like Austin 316, there is a Chance 350 shirt. And you bet your ass he's going to be wearing it to the ring the next time he fights. It might be up on the T Public store as well. So I'm going to close out my end of the day with my little saying that I usually say, and it is written down so I don't miss it. And it's something that I mean from the bottom of my heart. Probably going to get emotional. Might have to turn off the camera. Who knows? But I'll try to get this out. This sums up how I like to end shows. I've done this for a couple years. And I started to say a lot of the same stuff, so I wrote it down. And here we go. At the end of the day, thanks for tuning in. This has been Leaning Towards Death Wrestling, brought to you by the Blaised Radio Network. Thanks for being a part of the show, and hope to see you guys next time. But until then, keep in mind, people, the world may be crumbling around us, but life is about what we do with the moments we have left. Live every day like it's your last. You, remember, people, you are exactly the way you're supposed to be. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. It's how you react to those mistakes that matters. Be yourself and treat others the way you want to be treated, like Beet said. Consider it. Just consider it. Think about it. Be considerate. You never know what someone's going through or what they've gone through before in their life. We all have our demons. We all have our crosses to bear. But make your mark. Leave your legacy. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So no matter what ails you or what might be bringing you down, hopefully we can help take it away, even if it's just for a little bit. I always say, whether you're laughing with me or at me, you're smiling. This brings another end to the episode of LTD, the Get Blaze podcast. And I'd like to say LTD used to be Learning, Training, and Developing. That was the original thing. It was an EFED, developmental fed. And it turned into Leaning Towards Death. But it also means limited temporary disconnect. And that's what we want to give everyone. We want to give everybody a temporary disconnect from real life, that escapism. But remember this, we're all leaning towards death. Some are just a little bit closer. Peace and positive vibes to each and every one of you guys and gals and your family. Stay safe. Stay tuned to Blaised Radio and all these great channels that we'll be promoting over the next month. Over 50 channels I will promote. Check them out. Pay them some love and respect. You've all get reeled in, hook, line, and sinker. I'll see you in the streams, everybody. Say goodbye, people.
See ya.
Peace.
Blaze. Get Blaze. Blaze. Blaze.